Before tonight's broadcast begins, a quick word from the creator. The visuals and voices used in this production were created with the help of AI tools. However, the story direction, writing, editing, pacing, structure, sound design, and final assembly were all shaped by one human being. One very tired, very horror-loving human being. This project was made from nothing but love for horror, mystery, late-night radio, emergency broadcasts, forgotten folklore, rural legends, and those strange stories whispered after midnight. When the roads are empty, the trees seem a little too close, and something in the distance sounds almost human. The Howling Fever is an original fan-created fictional audio drama produced purely for entertainment. No actual outbreak has been reported. No quarantine has been declared. And should you hear scratching at your door tonight, please remember that wolves cannot speak. At least, they are not supposed to. So lock the windows, check the temperature, cover your mouth when you cough, and enjoy the show. Good evening, friends. There is an old saying in the mountains. The earth remembers everything placed beneath it. Every bone, every secret, every sin buried deeply enough that the living may pretend it never happened. For more than a century, the people of Gallows Creek, Pennsylvania, drove along Highway 16 without knowing what rested beneath the asphalt. They passed over it on their way to work. They crossed it while taking their children to school. They traveled above it during church picnics, funeral processions, hunting trips, and long drives home beneath the Appalachian moon. Then, in late August, a road crew began widening the highway. Their excavators struck wood. Beneath the mountain soil, they uncovered an unmarked grave filled with bodies dating back to the influenza pandemic of 1918. Every corpse had been buried face down. Silver coins had been hammered between their teeth. Dried wolfsbane had been tied around their wrists. Local officials called it an abandoned influenza burial site. Historians called it an unusual funerary practice. The road workers called it the strangest thing they had ever seen. Then one of them started coughing. Within days, Gallows Creek was overwhelmed by what doctors believed to be a severe strain of summer influenza. Fever, chills, muscle pain, sensitivity to light, disturbingly vivid dreams, until patients began complaining that cooked food smelled rotten, that human voices had become unbearably loud, that they could hear heartbeats in neighboring rooms, and that, somewhere beyond the tree line, something was calling to them. Tonight, we examine the final broadcasts from Gallows Creek, the discovery beneath Highway 16, the hospital quarantine, the emergency shelters, the forgotten outbreak of 2015, and Reverend Malachi Voss, the man Gallows Creek buried beneath silver, wolfsbane, and a century of lies. You will hear from frightened residents, exhausted doctors, police officers, government officials, historians, and Grant Maddox, the overnight radio host who remained behind the microphone while his town was torn apart. It did not require a bite. It did not wait for the full moon. And whatever it is doing to the infected, it is only just beginning. Tonight's broadcast begins with a grave that should never have been opened, and a silence that should have stayed buried. Enjoy.
Good evening, I'm Caroline Reed.
And I'm Mark Ellis. Tonight, work has been suspended on a major expansion of Highway 16 after construction crews uncovered what authorities believe may be a forgotten burial ground dating back more than a century. The discovery was made shortly after 9 o'clock this morning near Blackwood Ridge, approximately 4 miles west of Gallows Creek. State police say there is currently no indication that the remains are connected to any recent crime. Caroline?
The Gallows Creek County Coroner's Office believes the graves may date to the influenza pandemic of 1918. Officials say several dozen sets of human remains have already been located, though investigators warn the burial site may extend beneath portions of the existing highway. WGCN reporter Natalie Pierce joins us live from Highway 16 with the latest. Natalie?
Caroline, the westbound lanes of Highway 16 remain closed tonight between Miller Road and the Blackwood Ridge overpass. Construction crews had been clearing land for an additional traffic lane when an excavator struck what workers initially believed was an old wooden drainage structure. When they examined it more closely, they discovered human bones. Work was immediately stopped, and the area has remained sealed off throughout the afternoon. Pennsylvania State Police, the county coroner, and representatives from the State Historic Preservation Office are now examining the site.
The operator saw pieces of wood come up with the dirt. Then we noticed what appeared to be bone fragments. Once we realized what we were looking at, everybody backed away and contacted the authorities. Our people did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Officials have identified remnants of simple wooden coffins, rusted nails, and several pieces of badly deteriorated clothing. The remains appear to belong to both men and women. At least 3 smaller graves may contain children. Investigators have also noted several unusual details. The bodies appear to have been buried face down. Small silver-colored objects were discovered near the mouths of several remains, and dried plant material was found wrapped around portions of the arms and wrists. County Coroner Malcolm Avery cautioned that none of those findings have been fully examined. The County Historical Office believes the graves may be connected to an emergency quarantine established during the autumn of 1918. More than 100 Gallows Creek residents reportedly died during the influenza pandemic, but the final resting places of many victims were never recorded. Retired historian Professor Silas Wren says the discovery may answer a question that has troubled local researchers for decades.
The official cemetery records simply stop. We know people died. We know wagons carried bodies out of town during the quarantine, but there are no burial permits, no church records, and no surviving maps showing where those people were taken. It was as though an entire winter of Gallows Creek history was deliberately erased.
Road worker Ethan Rusk was among the crew members present when the first coffin was uncovered.
We thought maybe it was an old prison grave or something. They were all turned over, facing the dirt. My buddy said maybe they buried criminals like that back then, so they couldn't look up at heaven. I don't know. I just moved dirt for a living.
The remains will be transferred to the county medical facility beginning tomorrow morning. Officials say DNA testing may be attempted, although the age and condition of the bones could make identification difficult. The Highway 16 expansion is expected to remain suspended through at least Monday. Drivers are advised to use Miller Road or the old Route 6 bypass. Reporting live near Blackwood Ridge, Natalie Pierce, WGCN News.
Elsewhere tonight, Gallows Creek police are reminding residents that parking restrictions will begin Monday in preparation for the annual Labor Day festival. Crews will begin installing vendor tents and temporary barriers along Main Street early next week. More than 12,000 visitors attended last year's celebration. This year's festival will include local food vendors, carnival rides, a classic automobile show, and 3 nights of live music. The Labor Day parade begins Saturday morning at 10, and several residents reported seeing a black bear near the Hawthorne subdivision early this morning. Wildlife officials believe the animal was searching for food after overturned garbage containers were discovered along Birchwood Lane. Residents are advised to secure trash bins and avoid leaving pet food outdoors overnight. Officials also remind the public never to approach or attempt to feed a wild animal. In other news this year, summer influenza numbers have doubled since last. Hospital officials say most of the patients are expected to recover at home. 2 members of the Highway 16 road crew have been admitted for overnight observation after experiencing severe muscle spasms. County health officials are asking residents to wash their hands regularly and cover their mouths while coughing.
It may still feel like summer outside, but apparently flu season has other plans. That's all for us tonight. Thank you for joining us.
The national news begins next. We'll see you again at 11. Good night.
From Blackwood Ridge to the Susquehanna River, this is WGCR 880 AM, the voice of the mountains. 11:07 on a warm Friday night. 71 degrees outside the WGCR studios. Humidity sitting somewhere between uncomfortable and biblical, and the mosquitoes have officially purchased controlling interest in Gallows Creek County. I'm Grant Maddox, and you're listening to The Graveyard Shift. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. For those of you who listen every night, I'm sorry. Our telephone lines are open until 2 in the morning. Call us with whatever is keeping you awake. Local news, bad neighbors, worse marriages, mysterious lights in the sky, or anything else you are too embarrassed to discuss during daylight hours. Tonight, apparently, we are discussing dead people. Highway 16 remains partially closed after construction workers uncovered an old burial site near Blackwood Ridge this morning. County officials believe the graves may date back to the influenza outbreak of 1918. Several callers have already asked whether the highway is haunted. The answer is no. It is merely under construction, which is considerably worse. Our first caller tonight is Bobby, driving west on Highway 16. Bobby, you're on WGCR.
Hey, Grant.
Good evening, Bobby. Where are you heading?
Trying to get home. They've got everybody pushed onto Miller Road because of that graveyard they dug up.
Think of it as Gallows Creek's newest historical attraction. We have an old courthouse, 3 antique stores, and now 32 people buried beneath the highway. Tourism should be tremendous.
Yeah, well, something's going on out here.
Besides traffic?
I saw one of those construction workers. Least, I think he was one of them. He had one of those orange shirts on with the reflective stripes.
All right.
He was standing beside the road near the tree line. No truck, no flashlight, nothing. Just standing there.
Maybe his vehicle broke down.
He was barefoot.
That does complicate the roadside assistance theory.
I slowed down and asked if he needed help. He didn't answer. He just kept looking into the woods.
Did you contact the police?
No. I didn't want to stop.
Why not?
Because when I drove past him, he turned his head and followed the truck. Didn't move the rest of his body. Just his head.
Bobby, people can turn their heads. It's one of our better features.
Not that far.
All right. Where exactly did you see him?
About a mile east of the Blackwood Ridge overpass.
We'll pass that along to the sheriff's department. Keep your eyes on the road and try not to make any new friends beside the forest tonight.
Grant? I think I saw him again.
What do you mean?
I'm 6 miles down the road. There's somebody standing up ahead. Same orange shirt. How the hell did he...
Bobby? And we have lost Bobby. Either the mountain swallowed his signal or Miller Road finally finished what the Department of Transportation started. Bobby, call us back once you have service, preferably from a moving vehicle. It is 11:12. We'll be right back after this.
Summer may be ending, but Gallows Creek is just getting started. Join us September 4th through 7th for the 39th annual Gallows Creek Labor Day Festival. Enjoy carnival rides, local crafts, live entertainment, and delicious food from more than 40 regional vendors. Bring the entire family to Saturday morning's Labor Day Parade, beginning at 10 o'clock on Main Street. Then stay for the Blackwood Barbecue Competition, sponsored by Mercer Brothers Hardware. The Gallows Creek Labor Day Festival, where neighbors become friends, and friends become family.
You're listening to The Graveyard Shift on WGCR 880. I'm Grant Maddox. Our next caller is June from the Hawthorne subdivision. June, what is happening tonight?
It's the dogs.
That is a dramatic opening, June. What are the dogs doing?
Nothing. That's what's strange.
I'll need slightly more than that.
Every dog on Birchwood Lane started barking around 10:30. Not normal barking. They were screaming. Then they all stopped.
Could have been the bear reported in the neighborhood this morning.
My shepherd won't come out from beneath the kitchen table. He's shaking so badly the dishes are rattling.
Animals become frightened. Thunder, fireworks, bears.
There's no thunder, and I can see my neighbor's dog through the window. She's lying flat on the floor with both paws covering her nose.
Dogs dogs generally lack the anatomical...
Something walked between the houses.
Did you see it?
Only for a second. It was too tall to be a bear.
Black bears can appear surprisingly large when they stand upright.
It wasn't standing, it was walking.
Have you contacted animal control?
Their line is busy. The sheriff told us to stay inside and secure our garbage.
Then that is exactly what you should do. Lock your doors, keep your dog inside, and don't investigate strange noises in the dark. That advice applies to bears, burglars, and former spouses.
Grant, there's something else. Whatever passed between the houses was coughing.
Coughing?
Like a person with pneumonia, only deeper.
Hold on. June?
Something just touched the side of the house. My dog is growling now. He never growls.
June, get away from the window. Call the sheriff. Now, for anyone keeping count, that is 2 reports of unusual activity near Blackwood Ridge and 1 extremely unhappy German Shepherd. The State Wildlife Office has received several reports of a large animal moving through the western part of the county. Until somebody identifies it, keep children and pets indoors. Do not approach wildlife. Do not leave food outside. And please do not attempt to photograph it for the internet. A blurry picture of a trash can will not make you famous. It will merely give our sheriff another reason to hate this town. The time is currently 11:41. So apparently there are black bears in this county. There are frightened animals. There are sick people as well. And there are shadows that look considerably worse after midnight than they do at noon. So, we now have Dr. Evelyn Shaw from Gallows Creek Regional Hospital joining us by telephone. Doctor, thank you for calling.
Thank you for taking the call.
Our listeners have been hearing reports about several sick members of the Highway 16 road crew. How concerned should the public be?
We are treating an unusually high number of patients with acute flu-like symptoms. At present, we have not identified the specific virus responsible.
How many patients?
27 have been evaluated since Tuesday. 9 are currently under observation.
The Evening News reported 14.
That figure is no longer current.
What symptoms are you seeing?
High fever, severe muscle pain, dehydration, coughing, sensitivity to light, and occasional confusion. Some patients have also reported heightened sensitivity to sound and smell.
A woman just told us her husband said water tasted rotten.
Changes in taste and smell can accompany high fever. Confusion and delirium can also occur when body temperature becomes dangerously elevated.
Is the illness connected to the Highway 16 burial site?
There is currently no evidence establishing such a connection. However, anyone who worked at the construction site or had close contact with a member of that crew should monitor themselves carefully.
What should listeners do if they develop symptoms?
Remain at home. Avoid close physical contact with other people. Do not share food, drinking glasses, towels, or bedding. Keep affected family members isolated in a separate room whenever possible.
That sounds more serious than an ordinary summer flu.
We are being cautious.
Doctor, is the hospital accepting new patients?
Yes, but our emergency department is experiencing delays. Please do not come to the hospital unless symptoms are severe. Call ahead whenever possible. One moment. Get him back on the bed. I have to go.
Dr. Evelyn Shaw of Gallows Creek Regional Hospital. It is 11:51. We're going to remain on the air and provide updates as they become available.
Gallows Creek 911. What is the address of your emergency?
It's 14 Birchwood Lane, Hawthorne Subdivision.
14 Birchwood Lane. Tell me exactly what happened.
I think there's a wolf in my backyard.
A wolf?
Or a dog. I don't know. It's too dark. Something knocked over my trash cans, and now it's standing by the fence.
Are you inside the residence?
Yeah. I'm in the kitchen.
Stay inside. Lock all exterior doors and move away from the windows. Do not approach the animal.
I wasn't planning to. Jesus, it's big.
Can you describe it?
Black fur. Maybe gray. I can't see all of it because it's crouched behind the shed.
Is anyone else in the home with you?
My wife and my daughter. They're upstairs.
Keep them upstairs and away from the windows. I'm notifying wildlife officers and sending a deputy to your address.
Wait. It's moving. It's sniffing the ground. It keeps stopping beside the places where my daughter was playing earlier.
Sir, step away from the window now.
Holy shit, it's huge. It's on 2 legs. It's standing on 2 goddamn legs.
Move to an interior room and lock the door. Take your family with you.
It's taller than the fence. That fence is 6 feet.
Do not remain where it can see you.
I don't think it can. The kitchen lights are off. It knows I'm here. Its eyes. They're yellow. Did you hear that? It coughed. Sounds like a man. It's coming closer.
Deputies are on their way. Do you have a firearm in the home?
Yeah. In the bedroom.
Adam? Adam? Can you hear me?
Good morning. I'm Mark Ellis. We begin with breaking news from Gallows Creek, where authorities are investigating several violent home invasions and dozens of reports involving what witnesses describe as unusually large wolf-like animals. The first emergency calls were received shortly before 11:30 last night. Since then, Gallows Creek County dispatchers have documented incidents across the Hawthorne subdivision, Miller Road, Birchwood Lane, and the western neighborhoods bordering Blackwood Ridge. At least 11 homes have sustained significant damage. 3 residents have been hospitalized. Several others remain unaccounted for. Authorities have not confirmed any fatalities. Police initially believed the incidents involved a black bear or another large animal moving through residential areas. Witnesses, however, have provided remarkably similar descriptions. Callers reported seeing creatures covered in dark fur, standing between 7 and 9 feet tall, moving upright on 2 legs, and displaying what several witnesses described as human-like hands. Some residents have begun referring to them as wolfmen. Police are urging the public not to use that term, saying there is currently no evidence supporting claims of anything supernatural. Responding deputies discovered a shattered second-story window, extensive damage inside the home, and several large impressions in the ground beneath the window. The family who lived there has not been located. Their vehicle remains in the driveway. Police say a firearm was discharged inside the house, although no blood was discovered at the scene. Neighbors reported hearing multiple gunshots, followed by what they described as an animal roaring. One witness said the sound was loud enough to shake the windows of nearby homes. The incidents appear to have followed a path through the western portion of Gallows Creek. The first confirmed sighting occurred near Highway 16 at approximately 10:40 last night. Additional reports followed along Miller Road, Hawthorne Drive, and Birchwood Lane. Shortly after 1 o'clock this morning, callers in the downtown area reported hearing howling from rooftops and alleyways. Police searched the area but found no animals. A law enforcement source tells WGCN that the impressions were discovered on the exterior wall of a farmhouse on Miller Road. According to that source, several of the prints were located approximately 12 feet above the ground. The farmhouse's front and rear doors had both been forced inward. Investigators found deep scratches across the wooden floors and damage to interior walls. No residents were found inside. A family dog was discovered alive beneath the kitchen table. Animal control officers say the dog refused to leave the house and became extremely distressed whenever anyone approached the back door. Residents throughout Gallows Creek have submitted photographs and mobile phone recordings allegedly showing the animals. Most of the images are distant, dark, or heavily blurred. One recording taken from a passing vehicle appears to show a tall figure standing beneath a streetlight near Hawthorne Drive. The figure remains motionless for several seconds before dropping onto all fours and disappearing between 2 homes. Another video recorded near Gallows Creek Elementary School captures several dark figures moving together through the athletic field. The person recording can be heard counting at least 6. WGCN has chosen not to air either recording until the footage can be independently verified. The Pennsylvania Game Commission says there is no established wild wolf population in this region. A spokesperson suggested that some sightings may involve large dogs, black bears, or escaped exotic animals. However, the commission has not identified any local facility reporting missing wolves or other large predators. Gallows Creek Regional Hospital treated 3 people overnight for injuries reportedly connected to the home invasions. Hospital officials have declined to describe those injuries. The emergency department is also managing a sharp increase in patients suffering from the flu-like illness first reported yesterday. The number of confirmed cases has risen from 14 to 46. Symptoms include high fever, coughing, severe muscular pain, light sensitivity, confusion, and changes in taste or smell. Several patients reportedly became aggressive during treatment. The hospital has restricted access to portions of its emergency department while staff investigate what officials continue to call an unidentified respiratory illness. The Highway 16 burial site remains closed this morning. State investigators suspended the recovery operation overnight after 2 members of the excavation team developed high fevers. According to county officials, several bodies recovered from the site displayed unusual burial practices. The dead were placed face down. Silver coins were discovered lodged between their teeth. Dried wolfsbane had been tied around their wrists. Local historian Professor Silas Wren says those details may not have been ceremonial. County officials have criticized Professor Wren's remarks as irresponsible and historically unsupported. Authorities continue to insist that there is no verified connection between the burial site, the respiratory illness, and last night's reported animal attacks. For now, residents west of Main Street are being advised to remain indoors. Schools, churches, and municipal offices will remain closed today. Preparations for next weekend's Labor Day Festival are continuing, although organizers say they are monitoring the situation. We are receiving new information now. Gallows Creek police have closed Blackwood Road following another reported sighting near the northern entrance to the forest. A responding deputy claims that several large animals were observed moving across the road shortly before sunrise. The animals reportedly retreated into the trees. Police did not pursue them. We have live video from our traffic camera near Blackwood Road. The camera is positioned approximately half a mile from the Highway 16 worksite. At present, we do not see. There appears to be something near the tree line. Control, can we magnify that? We appear to have lost that camera. Again, authorities are asking everyone in the Blackwood Road area to remain indoors. Do not approach any unidentified animal. Do not attempt to record it. And under no circumstances should you respond if something outside your home calls your name. We will remain on the air as this situation develops. I'm Mark Ellis. This is WGCN Channel 8.
We're live. Welcome back to the Jimmy Slim Show, the only podcast in northeastern Pennsylvania brave enough to ask the important questions and poorly funded enough to face no meaningful consequences. I'm Jimmy Slims. Now, unless you have spent the morning hiding beneath a kitchen table, you have probably heard what happened last night. 11 damaged homes, 3 people were hospitalized, several residents are missing. Reports of 8-foot wolves walking on 2 legs, climbing houses and calling people by name. Authorities are referring to these as dangerous animal incidents. The internet has chosen the more efficient term, wolfmen. At the same time, Gallows Creek Regional Hospital has reported 46 cases of an unidentified respiratory illness. 46. Yesterday evening, that number was 14. Several patients worked at the Highway 16 burial site, the same burial site where workers uncovered bodies placed face down with silver coins in their mouths and wolfsbane tied around their wrists. So naturally, local officials are telling us that none of this is connected, because apparently Gallows Creek is having 2 unrelated emergencies on the same weekend. A werewolf problem and summer influenza. Terrible luck. Joining us remotely is Dr. Adrian Cheney, an infectious disease researcher and professor of epidemiology at Allegheny State University. Doctor, thanks for coming on to this circus.
Thank you for having me. Although I should say immediately that I am not calling these things werewolves.
Good. We made it in almost 14 seconds. What are you calling them?
Patients. The people reportedly seen returning to human form this morning are patients. What they become after sunset is an...
Hold on. Returning to human form? That has not been reported publicly.
Then perhaps I should have chosen my words more carefully. Several individuals were found shortly after sunrise near the western neighborhoods of Gallows Creek. They were naked, injured, and severely disoriented. Some had blood beneath their fingernails. Others had fractures that appeared hours old but had already begun healing.
And you believe those people were the creatures seen overnight?
I believe the possibility can no longer be dismissed.
Doctor, say it plainly. Are you telling me people are turning into wolves?
No. I am telling you that a contagious illness may be causing extreme physiological restructuring. Calling them wolves implies an animal transformation. These bodies are not becoming wolves. They appear to be developing characteristics associated with large terrestrial predators while retaining a fundamentally human skeletal structure.
That sounds like Wolfman.
It sounds like something medicine has never documented before. I have reviewed 2 radiographs taken at Gallows Creek Regional Hospital. I cannot discuss how they reached me.
Of course not.
Both images reportedly belong to the same patient. The first was taken at approximately 7:15 last night. The second was taken shortly before 11. In the first image, the patient had 3 old rib fractures and a poorly healed break in the left forearm. In the second, those injuries had almost completely repaired themselves, but that was not the most concerning change.
What was?
The rib cage had widened. The shoulder joints had shifted. The patient had developed additional bone growth around the jaw and fingertips. The roots of the teeth had extended deeper into the skull.
Over 4 hours?
Yes.
That is not possible.
Under ordinary biological conditions, no. But whatever is happening in Gallows Creek is not obeying ordinary metabolic limits.
Where does a body get the energy to do that?
That is one of the central questions. Patients are reporting extreme hunger before the behavioral changes begin. Food then becomes repulsive to them. Cooked meat smells spoiled. Water tastes contaminated. Meanwhile, their bodies begin consuming stored fat, damaged tissue, and possibly portions of their own internal structure. The illness may be breaking the body down and rebuilding it simultaneously.
So when people say their bones are changing,
they may be describing exactly what is happening.
The news keeps calling this a respiratory illness. Are we still talking about a kind of flu?
Flu is a convenient public description. It does not mean influenza has been confirmed. We have fever, coughing, muscle pain, and respiratory transmission. That makes it resemble influenza during the earliest stage. The later symptoms are entirely different.
Such as hearing people through walls?
Heightened hearing, heightened smell, sensitivity to light, changes in taste, aggression, unusual social behavior. Several witnesses have reported infected individuals standing near one another without speaking, even when they had no known relationship.
Like they recognize each other?
Possibly through scent. Animals identify illness, reproductive status, and social hierarchy through chemical signals. Humans produce many of the same signals, though we do not consciously process them. These patients may be developing that ability.
That sounds like a pack.
I would not use that word yet.
You were willing to say returning to human form, but pack is where we become irresponsible?
A pack suggests organization. We have not established that.
6 of them were recorded crossing the elementary school field together.
Moving together does not necessarily mean coordinating.
Last night, something attacked the house from the 2nd floor while another stood across the street. That sounds coordinated?
It may be.
Then why aren't officials saying this?
Because officials are trying to prevent panic.
Is that the charitable answer or the honest one?
It is both. Public panic spreads faster than most infections. But withholding useful information can also cost lives.
Such as?
People need to understand that the visibly transformed individuals may not be the greatest transmission risk.
Explain that.
Based on the reported timeline, patients appear most contagious during the first 48 hours. During that period, they still look human. They cough, they go to work, they visit clinics, they sleep beside their spouses, they take their children to school. By the time the dramatic symptoms begin, everyone around them may already have been exposed.
You're saying the monsters aren't spreading it. The sick people are.
They are the same people. That distinction is going to become very important.
The authorities are setting up shelters. Should people go?
Not without screening.
That was not an answer.
Then no, not yet. Placing hundreds of frightened residents inside a school gymnasium with coughing patients would be extraordinarily dangerous.
But they're telling people west of Main Street to prepare for relocation.
Then they are moving too quickly.
You heard it here first, folks. The epidemiologist says do not go to the emergency shelter.
That is not what I said.
It sounded remarkably similar.
I said mass shelters require medical screening, isolation areas, and proper ventilation. Anyone with fever, coughing, or unusual sensory symptoms must be separated immediately.
Unusual sensory symptoms meaning food tastes rotten and you can hear your neighbors breathing.
Yes.
What about the moon?
What about it?
Every official statement says there is no full moon tonight, as if that proves the witnesses are lying.
The moon is irrelevant to the initial changes.
You sound very confident.
Because patients began deteriorating shortly after sunset last night. The moon was not full. What changed was their circadian cycle.
Their internal clock.
Exactly. Human body temperature naturally rises and falls throughout the day. It generally begins to decline during the evening. Fever complicates that pattern, but the basic rhythm remains. The transformations may begin when the patient's elevated temperature suddenly drops.
The fever breaks.
Yes.
That phrase has been used by multiple witnesses.
And it should concern everyone. A patient appearing calmer after several hours of high fever may not be recovering. They may be entering the most dangerous stage.
What do people watch for?
A sudden stopping coughing, rapidly falling temperature, changes in posture, jaw pain, finger cramping, severe pressure in the spine or chest, yellowing of the eyes, an unusual fixation on doors, windows, or wooded areas.
And if someone in your family starts showing those symptoms?
Do not physically restrain them. Move other people away. Lock a solid barrier between yourself and the patient. Call emergency services.
Emergency services are overwhelmed.
Then leave while the person is still capable of understanding you. Do not wait for nightfall.
That is grim advice, Doctor.
It is honest advice.
Can these people be cured?
We do not know.
Do they remember what they do?
Some of the patients recovered this morning reportedly remember everything.
Everything?
The pursuit, the smells, the people they attacked, the decisions they made while attacking.
Decisions?
These are not mindless seizures. One patient described knowing which door in the house was weakest. Another remembered circling a building because he understood that someone was attempting to escape through the rear.
You said there was no evidence of organization.
I said it had not been established. I did not say it was impossible.
Do they remember their families?
Yes.
Then why attack them?
Recognition is not the same as restraint. A starving predator can recognize prey. Memory may only tell them where their loved ones are hiding.
Jesus. Sorry, I've got a message coming in. Apparently the county has now confirmed 68 cases. That was 46 less than 4 hours ago.
Jimmy, answer truthfully and stay calm. Where are you recording this?
My home studio. Why?
You alone?
My producer is in the other room.
Has he been coughing?
Everybody has been coughing. It's August in Pennsylvania. Half the county has allergies.
How long has he been ill?
I don't know. Since yesterday, maybe. Why? Kyle?
Jimmy, close the studio door.
He's probably getting cough.
Close it now.
All right, I'm going.
What time did his fever begin?
I never said he had a fever.
You said he was ill.
Okay, yeah, he looked like hell this morning. Sweating. Red eyes. Said the studio lights hurt.
Jimmy.
We're still recording. Give me 10 minutes.
Do not open it.
Doctor, he is my producer.
Ask him what his temperature is.
Kyle, did you check your fever? Kyle.
Jimmy, get away from the door.
What do you mean it's gone? Kyle.
Move away from the door now.
There's a window behind me, second floor.
Is there a fire escape?
No. Kyle, listen to me. You are sick. I'm gonna call an ambulance. Holy shit! Kyle, stop! Dude.
Good evening. Before we return to continuing coverage of the illness affecting Gallows Creek County, we need to begin with a significant weather event moving toward our area. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Gallows Creek, Blackwood Ridge, and much of western Susquehanna County. That warning remains in effect until 9:30 tonight. A powerful line of thunderstorms is currently moving east at approximately 35 miles per hour. The system is expected to reach Gallows Creek shortly before 8 o'clock. The leading edge of the storm is now crossing the county line. Residents can expect heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, and wind gusts potentially exceeding 60 miles per hour. There is also a risk of localized flooding along Miller Road, Blackwood Road, and the lower portions of Highway 16. Several roads in those areas remain closed because of the ongoing police response and the investigation at the Highway 16 burial site. Do not attempt to move barricades or drive through standing water. This storm developed rapidly during the late afternoon. Temperatures in Gallows Creek reached 89 degrees shortly after 3 o'clock. Behind the front, temperatures could fall by more than 20 degrees in less than 2 hours. That is an unusually sharp drop for late August. The storm is expected to pass directly over the western neighborhoods first. That includes Hawthorne Drive, Birchwood Lane, Miller Road, and the areas surrounding Gallows Creek Regional Hospital. Those neighborhoods remain under an advisory asking residents to remain indoors because of last night's reported animal attacks. Please do not leave your home to photograph the storm. Stay away from windows. Charge mobile phones while power remains available. Keep flashlights, medication, and battery-powered radios nearby. If your home loses electricity, do not use candles near curtains, bedding, or other flammable materials. We are also being told that several outdoor emergency sirens may not function because county communication systems are experiencing unusually heavy demand. WGCN will remain on the air for as long as conditions allow. Official sunset is at 7:48 this evening. Because of the density of the approaching cloud cover, Gallows Creek may become dark considerably earlier. Again, the most immediate threats are damaging winds, lightning, and sudden flooding. However, anyone in an area affected by last night's incidents should continue following the instructions issued by the Sheriff's Department. Remain inside, lock all doors and windows, do not investigate noises outside your home, and do not respond to voices unless you can clearly identify the person speaking. We now turn to the continuing public health emergency. The number of patients reporting symptoms associated with the unidentified respiratory illness has increased dramatically throughout the day. County officials confirm 68 cases this morning. That number has now risen to 237. Those patients include residents of Gallows Creek, Blackwood Township, and several surrounding mountain communities. At least 42 cases have been identified outside the immediate Gallows Creek area. Symptoms continue to include high fever, persistent coughing, severe muscle pain, sensitivity to light, and unusual changes in taste, smell, and hearing. Hospital officials have also documented sudden behavioral changes, extreme agitation, and what one medical source described as significant skeletal abnormalities. Gallows Creek Regional Hospital has stopped accepting non-emergency patients. The hospital's parking area is being used as a temporary triage center, although worsening weather may force those operations indoors. WGCN reporter Natalie Pierce is outside the hospital tonight. Natalie, what are you seeing?
Mark, conditions outside the hospital have deteriorated substantially within the last 30 minutes. The temporary screening area established earlier today has been abandoned because of the approaching storm. Patients were moved inside shortly after 7 o'clock. That decision appears to have placed an already overcrowded hospital under even greater strain. Hospital officials have not provided an updated patient count, but staff members told us earlier that every available room was occupied. Patients were being treated in hallways, waiting areas, and administrative offices. The hospital entered a security lockdown approximately 15 minutes ago. All entrances have been closed. Police vehicles that had been stationed here earlier are no longer visible. We have been unable to confirm whether those deputies were called elsewhere or moved inside the building.
Natalie, do we know why the hospital initiated the lockdown?
Not officially. Staff members initially described it as a precaution caused by overcrowding and increasing aggression among several patients. But moments before the doors were secured, we heard what sounded like a major disturbance inside the emergency department. Several windows on the western side of the building were damaged. We also saw hospital staff running through the first floor corridor.
Were patients attempting to leave?
We don't know. The hospital has repeatedly asked us to remain behind the outer barricade. We are currently positioned approximately 70 yards from the emergency entrance.
Natalie, earlier reports mentioned animals near the hospital grounds. Has that been confirmed?
We have not received confirmation from police. However, several witnesses who left the area before the lockdown reported seeing large animals moving through the parking structure and the tree line behind the hospital. Those descriptions are similar to the reports from Hawthorne and Birchwood Lane last night. Dark fur, unusually large bodies, and movement on two legs.
Have you personally seen anything matching that description?
Not clearly. About 10 minutes ago, we saw something cross the roof of the parking garage. It was moving quickly and the light was poor. I cannot responsibly tell you what it was. Something just moved inside that room.
We saw it. Natalie, are you in a secure location?
We are beside the WGCN news vehicle. We can leave quickly if necessary. The hospital has just lost power.
Natalie, we have Dr. Evelyn Shaw joining us by telephone from inside the hospital. Doctor, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What is happening inside Gallows Creek Regional?
The hospital is operating on emergency generators. The western wing has lost power entirely. We are attempting to move patients away from that section.
Why was the hospital locked down?
We had several patients become violent at approximately the same time.
How many?
At least 20. Possibly more. Communication between floors is limited.
Doctor, were those patients suffering from the unidentified flu?
Yes. All of them had been admitted with high fever and severe muscular pain. Most were considered stable less than an hour ago.
What changed?
Their temperatures began falling.
Were recovering?
No. Their fevers broke almost simultaneously. The coughing stopped. Then the physical changes began.
What physical changes?
Their hands contracted first, the fingers elongated, and the nails separated from the beds. Several patients suffered dislocations in the shoulders and jaw. Their spines began...
Doctor!
I'm still here.
Are you safe?
For the moment. I'm inside a consultation room near the pediatric wing. The door is locked.
Doctor, are animals attacking the hospital?
They are not animals.
Witnesses outside are describing wolves.
Those things were patients.
You're saying the people admitted with the illness became the creatures reported last night?
I watched one of them change. He was a 43-year-old road worker. He had been conscious and speaking less than 5 minutes earlier. When his fever dropped, his heart rate slowed to 30 beats per minute. Then his rib cage began expanding. His teeth pushed the others out.
Doctor, how many transformed patients are loose inside the hospital?
I don't know. Some are still changing. Others have moved into the stairwells. They are working together.
What do you mean by working together?
They're not wandering. They cut power to the western elevators. They blocked the ground floor exits with overturned equipment. When staff tried to move patients through the south stairwell, 3 of them were waiting on different floors.
Are you suggesting they planned an ambush?
I'm saying they understood where we were going. They're moving closer.
Can emergency personnel reach you?
Not through the main entrance. Several transformed patients are inside the emergency department. Others are outside. The roof, the parking garage, the ambulance bay. They started gathering around the hospital before the first patients changed.
How could they have known?
They can smell the infected. They came here because the hospital is full of them. Moving now.
Leave the area. Natalie, leave immediately. This is WGCN Channel 8. We have lost contact with Natalie Pierce outside Gallows Creek Regional Hospital. The hospital remains under attack by what authorities previously described as unidentified animals. Based on what we have just witnessed and what Dr. Evelyn Shaw has told us, those creatures may be patients infected with the illness spreading through this county. If someone in your home has a fever, do not assume they are recovering when their temperature begins to fall. Move away from them. Place a locked barrier between yourself and the patient. Do not attempt to restrain them. Do not transport them to Gallows Creek Regional Hospital. The hospital is no longer secure. Remain indoors. Stay away from windows. And understand that the creatures outside tonight may still remember your home. They may remember your voice. They may remember your name. WGCN will remain on the air.
My name is Eddie Knox. This is the Night Watch, and I am broadcasting from an undisclosed location somewhere outside Gallows Creek. And before somebody from the county calls to accuse me of spreading panic, let me save you the trouble. I am panicking. You should be panicking. There are 9-foot-tall werewolves climbing hospitals, ripping apart houses, and using dead relatives' voices to trick people into opening their doors. Panic is no longer an overreaction. Panic is the only person in the room paying attention. For 24 hours, the authorities told us these things were bears. Bears! Have you ever seen a bear climb onto a hospital roof, cut the power, block the exits, and wait for 200 sick people to transform? No! Bears dig through trash. Bears steal picnic baskets. Bears do not coordinate an assault on an emergency department. And I am tired of hearing the phrase unidentified animals. They have been identified. They're werewolves. You can call them wolfmen. You can call them infected patients. You can call them aggressive, nocturnal, canid-adjacent citizens if that makes the county feel better. I call them werewolves because they are men who turn into wolves. That is the word. We invented the word for this exact situation. And let me make something perfectly clear. I hate werewolves. I have always hated werewolves. Vampires, fine. Vampires understand boundaries. They need permission to enter your home. That is civilized. A vampire has property somewhere in Europe and understands the value of a good coat. Werewolves? No, werewolves smash through the second-story window and eat the family dog. They have no manners, they have no financial planning, they have no respect for personal property. They spend half the night howling, the other half shedding on everything, and somehow we're supposed to feel sorry for them because they wake up naked in the woods? Buy pants! And yes, I understand that the people infected with this thing are victims. I understand they are still human during daylight. I understand some of them remember what they did. That is horrible. That is tragic. But tragedy does not make the creature outside your bedroom window less interested in eating you. You can feel compassion after sunrise. At night, lock the door. Now let us discuss what actually happened in Gallows Creek. Not the polished version, not the version Sheriff Creed reads from a sheet of paper while somebody removes 12-foot-high fingerprints from a farmhouse wall. The real version. Highway 16 was expanded. A construction crew uncovered an unmarked burial ground dating back to 1918. The official story says these were influenza victims. Fine. Then explained the burial practices. Everybody was face down. Everybody had silver hammered between its teeth. Everybody had Wolfsbane tied around its wrists. That is not how you bury someone who died from pneumonia. You know what people did with influenza victims in 1918? They buried them quickly. They did not pry open their mouths, hammer currency into their teeth, flip them onto their stomachs, and wrap herbs around their arms. That takes time. That takes planning. That takes a town full of terrified people saying, "We have seen what these bodies do after dark, and we are not taking chances." Face down so that if they wake, they dig deeper. Silver in the mouth so the jaw cannot close. Wolfsbane around the wrist because somebody believed it would weaken them, confuse their scent, or stop the change. And before you call that superstition, remember that the hospital is currently being torn apart by patients whose rib cages expanded after their fevers broke. The superstition is winning. Professor Silas Rant said the records from 1918 simply stopped. No burial permits, no church records, no surviving map. Hundreds of people supposedly die, and then an entire section of Gallows Creek history vanishes. That does not happen accidentally. Somebody erased it. The survivors erased it. The county erased it. The churches erased it. Families changed names, burned journals, and buried the evidence beneath the road. Why? Because Gallows Creek was not struck by influenza in 1918. It was struck by this: the coughing, the fever, the muscle pain, the sensitivity to light. Then the fever breaks, the bones move, and people start hunting their neighbors. The old residents did not survive a flu epidemic. They survived a werewolf outbreak, and they lied about it. Now let us move to the part nobody wants to explain. Why is it spreading without bites? Every story tells us you become a werewolf after one bites you. Simple, traditional, almost respectable. But this thing does not need a bite. It spreads through coughing, breath, close contact. That means whatever was buried beneath Highway 16 was not merely a group of bodies, it was containment, a quarantine beneath the earth. Those coffins were not graves, they were sealed evidence bags. Then a construction crew tore them open with an excavator. Old wood broke, dust rose, workers breathed it. One of them coughed on camera. Hours later, road workers began running fevers. Then their families became sick, then nurses became sick, then the emergency room filled, and the county still wants us to believe these events are unrelated. The grave opened, the workers coughed, the hospital filled, the wolves came. That is not a collection of coincidences. That is a sequence. People keep asking whether one of the bodies climbed out. Maybe. But it almost does not matter. The old thing beneath Blackwood Ridge did not need to walk into town. The town inhaled it. That is the nightmare. The curse learned how to cough. And do not tell me they are mindless animals. They are not. A mindless animal attacks what is directly in front of it. These creatures circle homes. They test doors. They climb to second floor, bedrooms. They position themselves at opposite ends of the street. They block hospital exits. They wait in stairwells. They cut people off from escape routes. They imitate voices. One of them called Adam Pike by name outside his daughter's bedroom. Something at the Miller Road house used the voice of a woman's dead husband. That is not animal instinct. That is memory being used as a weapon. They remember you. Well, that is not fine. If something outside says it is your husband, look beside you. If your husband is already in bed, do not open the door for the second one. I cannot believe I need to say that. Now let us talk about Gallows Creek Regional Hospital. More than 200 flu cases. Patients stacked in hallways, families gathered outside, staff members moving infected people into one building. Do you know what that hospital became? A kennel. A giant, brightly lit kennel full of people waiting for sunset. Dr. Evelyn Shaw said their fevers broke at nearly the same time. That means the transformation is not controlled by the full moon. Good, wonderful, because apparently traditional werewolves were not inconvenient enough. At least the full moon comes once a month. This thing changes every night. It is connected to body temperature, the circadian rhythm, and sunset. The moon may make them stronger, but they do not need it. The authorities looked at the crescent moon and assured everyone the wolf reports could not be real. Then the entire hospital transformed. That is what happens when folklore is treated like a costume instead of a warning. Old stories were not written by people trying to entertain you. Sometimes they were written by the only person who survived. And what did the transformed patients do? They did not run randomly through the hospital. They took the stairwells, they disabled elevators, they blocked exits. The infected outside gathered on the roof and in the parking garage before the patients inside finished changing. They were waiting for the rest of the pack. Yes, I said pack. Dr. Cheney may not want to use that word yet. I will use it twice. Pack, there. We have organized werewolves operating as a coordinated hunting group. Language matters, and I refuse to describe a pack of werewolves as a cluster of individuals experiencing synchronized canine symptoms. They are a pack. They recognize each other before they transform. During the day, they sit together in shelters. They follow the same roads. They gather without understanding why. At night, whatever human hesitation remains gets burned away, and the group begins thinking like one animal. That is why the shelters are a disaster. You place 300 residents inside a school gymnasium. Some are frightened, some are coughing, some have fevers, some do not yet know they are infected. Then the sun goes down, the coughing stops, every head turns toward the window. And congratulations, the county has built an indoor werewolf convention. You want my conspiracy? Here it is. The authorities are not hiding this because they know everything. They are hiding it because they know nothing. They do not know how many people are infected. They do not know how far it has spread. They do not know whether killing one of these things kills the human being inside. They do not know why silver was used. They do not know whether Wolfsbane works. They do not know how many bodies remain beneath Highway 16. And they do not know what was missing from the first coffin, because one coffin was open from the inside. Yes, you heard me. Not cracked by the excavator, not damaged by water, open from the inside. Whatever Gallows Creek buried in 1918 did not stay dead. And if the old stories are right, the first infected was not simply another patient. The oldest one leads, the oldest one calls. Every infected person in this county is listening for that voice, whether they know it or not. That is why they stare toward Blackwood Ridge. That is why the packs keep moving west. That is why they stop during the storm and listen. Something in those mountains is calling them home. And I hope it enjoys the reunion, because I do not. I hate werewolves. I hate their stupid howling. I hate their giant hands. I hate the way they stand outside windows. I hate that they remember people's names. I hate that they have turned coughing into an omen. No, I am not coming outside. That is not the front door. That is the upstairs window. You have got to be kidding me. I am on the second floor, you overgrown carpet. Listeners, remember, lock the doors. Avoid shelters that are not screening for fever. Do not trust familiar voices outside. And if the county says everything is under control, they are lying.
Good evening. If you are still receiving our signal, this is WGCN Channel 8. I'm Mark Ellis. We begin tonight with a story I never expected to report. My colleague and friend, Caroline Reed, has been reported missing. Caroline was last seen leaving the WGCN studios shortly after yesterday evening's broadcast. She was expected home sometime before 8:30. She never arrived. Her husband contacted Gallows Creek police early this morning after repeated attempts to reach her by telephone were unsuccessful. Her vehicle was discovered shortly after noon on Old Blackwood Road, approximately 3 miles north of Gallows Creek. The driver's door was open. Her purse and mobile phone were still inside. There was no sign of Caroline. Police have not publicly classified her disappearance as connected to the incidents occurring throughout Gallows Creek. However, Old Blackwood Road has been the site of multiple reported sightings over the past 24 hours. Investigators found several large impressions in the mud near Caroline's vehicle. Authorities have not identified what made them. Search crews entered the surrounding woods this afternoon, but withdrew when severe weather and deteriorating visibility made further operations unsafe. Her disappearance is now one of more than 30 unresolved missing person cases reported in Gallows Creek County since last night. Caroline has worked beside me at this desk for 11 years. She is a wife, a mother, a journalist, and one of the most stubborn people I have ever met. So, Caroline, if you can hear this, we're still here. Come home. The search for Caroline comes as conditions throughout Gallows Creek continue to deteriorate. The county health department is no longer providing an exact number of infections. The most recent confirmed figure exceeded 500 cases shortly before 9 o'clock tonight. Medical officials now believe the actual number is considerably higher. Gallows Creek Regional Hospital remains inaccessible following the violent outbreak reported earlier this evening. Emergency crews have been ordered not to enter the building. Several fires are visible inside the western wing. Authorities have not confirmed how many patients or staff remain trapped. Natalie Pierce is approximately 2 miles east of the hospital tonight. Natalie, you managed to get out.
Barely, Mark. The access road completely flooded behind us shortly after we left the hospital. We eventually reached Route 6 through a maintenance road behind the industrial park. The news van has sustained damage, but we're mobile.
What can you see from your position?
Very little. Power is out across most of this section of Gallows Creek. The only consistent lighting is coming from emergency vehicles and lightning. We can still see portions of Gallows Creek Regional Hospital through the trees behind us. There have been intermittent flashes of fire inside the building, and we continue to hear...
Natalie?
Sorry, I thought I heard something. Probably thunder.
All right. Natalie, have authorities established any kind of perimeter around the hospital?
Not anymore. The roadblocks were abandoned about 40 minutes ago. We passed 2 sheriff's vehicles on Route 6. Both were empty. Their doors were open. One was still running.
Were there signs of an attack?
There was damage to both vehicles. I don't want to speculate beyond that. Police radio traffic has become extremely difficult to follow. Different departments are reporting sightings across the county simultaneously. Some of these reports involve single creatures. Others describe groups of 10 or more.
Are they still concentrated around the hospital?
That's the concerning part. They're spreading out. We have confirmed reports from Main Street, Hawthorne, Blackwood Road, the elementary school, Route 6, and several neighborhoods east of the river. There are also reports now coming from communities outside Gallows Creek.
Natalie, the sheriff's department issued another warning about voices. What are residents being told?
Do not open your door simply because someone outside identifies themselves. Do not respond to cries for help unless you can visually confirm the person calling. Do not approach anyone behaving strangely. And if you hear scratching against windows or exterior wall, did you hear that?
Hear what? Natalie?
We're okay, I think.
Natalie, get inside the vehicle if you're uncomfortable.
Okay. That was not thunder.
Get in the van, now. Natalie? We appear to have temporarily lost Natalie Pierce. We'll attempt to reconnect with her. In the meantime, County Emergency Management is advising all residents to remain indoors through the remainder of the night. Do not travel unless absolutely necessary. The severe thunderstorm continues to produce...
Mark?
Natalie, we have you. Are you safe?
I don't know. Something was underneath the awning with us. We never saw it. We heard it moving behind the building.
Leave the area.
That's what we're trying to do. The engine won't turn over. Come on. Come on.
Lock the doors.
There's something in the road.
Can you describe it?
It's too dark. It's one of them. It's just standing there.
Do not leave the vehicle. Keep quiet.
I can't see it anymore, Mark. It's right beside me. I think it left.
Natalie? 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 Natalie Pierce, if you can hear me. We have lost contact with our reporter. Caroline Reed is missing. Natalie Pierce is no longer responding. Gallows Creek Regional Hospital is no longer secure. And whatever has been happening in the western part of this county is no longer contained there. If you are watching this from home, stay there. Lock the doors, turn off exterior lights. Do not answer anyone outside, not even someone you know. Especially someone you know. This is Mark Ellis, WGCN Channel 8. Stay safe, Gallows Creek.
This is an emergency message from Gallows Creek County Emergency Management. A county-wide curfew is now in effect. All residents are ordered to remain inside until further notice. Multiple large wolf-like creatures have been reported attacking homes, vehicles, and individuals throughout Gallows Creek County. Do not travel. Do not investigate noises outside. Do not approach any unidentified animal. Lock all exterior doors and windows immediately. Turn off exterior lights. Close curtains and blinds. Keep children and pets away from windows. Residents are advised to remain in an interior room whenever possible. If a creature is observed near your residence, do not attempt to frighten it away. Do not open doors to voices coming from outside unless you can visually confirm the person speaking. If someone outside your home calls your name, do not respond. Emergency services are experiencing severe delays. Only call 911 for immediate threats to life. Again, a county-wide curfew is in effect. Remain indoors, lock doors and windows. Do not approach the wolf-like creatures. Do not respond to voices outside your residence. This emergency alert will remain active until authorities issue an all clear. Remain inside. Remain quiet. Remain alert. This message will repeat until sunrise AT 6:50 a.m.
Mark, it's Caroline. Call me when you get this. My car died on Old Blackwood Road. I think I'm somewhere past Miller's Mill, but the rain's coming down so hard I can barely see the road signs. I tried restarting it 3 times, nothing. God, sorry. I think I'm coming down with whatever everyone at the station has been passing around. I've been freezing since I left work, except I'm sweating through my blouse. I checked my temperature before I left. 103.6. Probably should have stayed at the station. Wonderful timing. I called roadside assistance. They said it could be over an hour. Police lines are apparently tied up with those animal calls. So if you're still at WGCN, maybe see if someone can come get me. I can smell everything. Wet leaves, mud, gasoline from my car. There's a dead deer somewhere nearby. I can smell the blood. That sounded insane. Forget it. Jesus Christ. Hold on. There are people out there, I think. I can hear them walking through the trees. No flashlights, no voices, just footsteps. Okay, doors are locked. Mark, I know this is going to sound stupid, but remember those calls about the things near Blackwood Ridge? The wolf things? I think something is watching the car. Did you hear that? Of course you didn't. It's a voicemail. Great, Caroline. Talk to yourself. No, that was real. There's something between the trees. I can't tell what I'm looking at. Oh my God, it's standing up. Mark, call the police. Tell them Old Blackwood Road, near the old mill. Please, if something's wrong, I'm not cold anymore. My fever is dropping really fast. Feels strange. I can hear them now, all of them. There are more than one. Mark, if you get this, don't come looking for me. Oh God, something's on the car. Mark, I think it knows I'm sick.
Good morning. It is 6:42. I'm Mark Ellis. For the first time since Friday evening, the rain has stopped over Gallows Creek. And with daylight has come something authorities are struggling to explain. The creatures reported throughout Gallows Creek County last night appear to be gone. But the people who may have been those creatures are still here. Beginning shortly after sunrise, police received hundreds of calls reporting naked and injured people wandering through neighborhoods, wooded areas, and highways throughout the county. Many appeared disoriented. Some were crying, some were unable to explain where they had been. Others were found sleeping in yards, abandoned buildings, and beside damaged homes. Nearly all showed signs of physical trauma: cuts, bruising, dislocated joints, severe dehydration, and in many cases, blood that does not appear to belong to them. Authorities initially believed these individuals were survivors of last night's attacks. That assumption has now changed. Investigators say several people found this morning match the identities of patients reported missing from Gallows Creek Regional Hospital during last night's lockdown. Others match residents who disappeared from their homes shortly before the first wolf-like sightings began. And surveillance recordings reviewed overnight appear to show something investigators had previously considered impossible. Some of the creatures seen during the night became human again shortly before sunrise. Scientists working with state and federal health officials are now examining what they believe may be an unknown disease capable of causing extreme temporary changes to the human body. Dr. Adrian Cheney, an infectious disease specialist who has been reviewing medical information from Gallows Creek, spoke with WGCN less than 20 minutes ago.
What we are looking at is unprecedented. These patients are not simply experiencing hallucinations or violent delirium. Their bodies are changing, bone structure, musculature, teeth, hands, spinal alignment, even cardiovascular function. And then with daylight, much of that change appears to reverse.
You're saying these people physically transformed?
That is what the evidence indicates. I understand how extraordinary that sounds, but we have X-rays taken hours apart from the same patients that do not resemble the same skeletal structure. We have documented fractures disappearing overnight. We have dental changes reversing. We have patients whose height appears to have changed by several feet and then returned almost completely to normal by morning. There is no known illness that behaves this way.
Are they still contagious?
We have to assume that they are. And that may be the most dangerous part of this outbreak. The people walking around Gallows Creek this morning look human. Some feel human. Some may even believe they have recovered. They have not been cleared. Do not approach them without protective equipment. Do not bring them into your home. Do not assume daylight means the danger has passed.
Medical teams have begun establishing temporary examination areas outside the county. However, transportation remains severely limited. Gallows Creek Regional Hospital remains unsafe. Parts of the building were heavily damaged overnight, and authorities have not yet completed a search of the interior. Dr. Evelyn Shaw survived the hospital attack and is assisting medical teams with the patients recovered this morning. She describes the reversions as rapid and extremely painful.
Most begin changing back shortly after first light. Their heart rate increases. Body temperature rises again. The jaw retracts. The shoulders narrow. The hands return first, then the spine. It is not immediate, and it is not clean.
Do they remember what happened?
Some do. Some don't want to talk about it. Some appear confused. Others wake up screaming.
Are they dangerous during the day?
Right now, most of them are frightened and exhausted. But we don't know what happens tonight. That is what everyone needs to understand. This may not be over.
Authorities are also confirming a significant loss of life. The Gallows Creek County Coroner's Office has confirmed 38 deaths as of 6 this morning. That number is expected to rise. More than 70 people remain missing. Several neighborhoods have not yet been fully searched. At least 15 homes were destroyed or severely damaged. Emergency crews have also recovered bodies from Gallows Creek Regional Hospital, Route 6, Hawthorne Subdivision, and the area surrounding Blackwood Ridge. Among the dead is Caroline Reed. Caroline's body was recovered shortly before 5 o'clock this morning near Old Blackwood Road. She was found less than a mile from where police discovered her abandoned vehicle yesterday. Authorities say she suffered extensive injuries consistent with the other attacks. Her family has been notified. Caroline sat beside me at this desk for 11 years. She covered floods, elections, school closings, factory fires, Friday night football, and more stories about lost dogs than either of us cared to remember. She was very good at this job, better than me, although I never told her that. She should be sitting there. She isn't. Investigators have not identified the creature responsible for Caroline's death, but evidence recovered throughout Gallows Creek is raising an even more disturbing question. What if there was no separate creature? Blood recovered from several people found this morning is being compared with the victims of last night's attacks. Preliminary testing has already produced several matches. One infected man recovered near Miller Road was found with blood belonging to 2 people killed inside a nearby farmhouse. Another was discovered less than 30 feet from a destroyed home on Birchwood Lane. Witnesses say that same man had been reported missing hours before a large wolf-like creature was seen outside the residence. Authorities are now investigating the possibility that the creatures responsible for last night's deaths were Gallows Creek residents infected with the same illness now spreading through the county.
This is the point where terminology becomes important. We are not dealing with animals that arrived in Gallows Creek. We appear to be dealing with people who became something else, temporarily.
Werewolves?
I'm a scientist. I'm uncomfortable using folklore as medical terminology.
Doctor, we have people who grow fur, develop fangs, walk on 4 legs, hunt in packs, and return to human form at sunrise. At what point does avoiding the word become less scientific than using it?
At this point, I don't know.
Many of the recovered patients appear to have no clear understanding of how they reached the locations where they were found. Several have asked police why they are naked. Others have asked why their hands are covered in blood. One woman found near Gallows Creek Elementary School reportedly became hysterical after recognizing a wedding ring among evidence recovered from her clothing. Police have not released the identity of the ring's owner. Families are being asked not to immediately reunite with recovered relatives. Officials understand how difficult that request is. These are husbands, wives, parents, children, friends. People who this morning appear completely human, but no one can yet say whether the changes will happen again after sunset. Dr. Shaw says several patients continue to display unusual symptoms even after returning to human form. Yellow discoloration of the eyes, abnormal tooth growth, heightened sense of smell, sensitivity to sound, and elevated aggression.
Most of them look almost normal. Almost. That word matters. We are seeing changes that did not completely reverse. I have one patient whose canine teeth remain nearly twice their normal length. Another still has abnormal hair growth across his shoulders. And several are reacting to sounds no one else in the room can hear.
Does each transformation leave permanent damage?
We don't know yet, but I'm afraid it may leave permanent change.
What happens after a second night? And a third?
Mark, we have only had one.
County officials are preparing temporary shelters for residents displaced by last night's attacks. Those locations will be announced later this morning. Health authorities say infected and uninfected residents must be separated. We will provide those locations when they become available. Anyone currently experiencing fever, coughing, muscle spasms, unusual sensitivity to light, changes in smell or hearing, or unexplained changes in behavior should isolate immediately. Do not hide symptoms. Do not assume you are safe because the sun is up, and do not assume someone is uninfected simply because they look normal. Gallows Creek is quiet this morning. For the first time in nearly 2 days, there is no howling, no reports of creatures in the streets, no attacks currently underway, just people, and somehow that may be worse. We'll be back after this.
I told all of you idiots. You laughed at me. You called me paranoid. You called me crazy. You said, Eddie, maybe they're just sick. Sick? There are 300 naked people wandering around Gallows Creek covered in blood. The sick theory sucks. And apparently, the giant slobbering monsters from last night are now regular people again. Oh, wonderful, fantastic. Let's go give them hugs. Because what I needed after spending the entire night barricaded inside my house was to wake up, look through my curtains, and see some 40-year-old accountant wandering through my backyard completely butt-ass naked with somebody else's blood covering his junk. I told you, you idiots, if I see one naked ass in my yard, I'm shooting you. Sorry, not sorry. I have had a very long weekend. Now, before every lawyer listening starts hyperventilating, no, I am not telling you to shoot random people. Do not shoot random people. Apparently, I have to explain everything now because society has collapsed, but liability law remains immortal. What I am saying is, do not invite them inside. Do not hug them. Do not say, oh, thank God, Uncle Larry's back. No, Uncle Larry may have spent last night eating the mailman. Give Larry a blanket. Give Larry medical attention. Give Larry approximately 50 feet of personal space. And for the love of everything holy, do not let Larry take a nap on your couch before sunset, because here's what the news finally admitted this morning. The wolves did not leave. They changed back. That creature clawing through somebody's second-story window, human. That thing running alongside cars on Route 6, human. Those things surrounding Gallows Creek Regional Hospital, humans. Residents, patients, neighbors, people you know, people who will look you straight in the eye this morning and ask why their hands are covered in blood. And some of them remember. That is the part nobody is talking loudly enough about. They remember chasing people. They remember smelling people through doors. They remember recognizing their own children. They remember knowing exactly who was hiding inside the house. And then trying to get in anyway. You think that is comforting? Because I don't. That is somehow worse. I would rather have a stupid monster. Give me a stupid monster. A stupid monster sees a door and attacks the door. These things see a door, and remember, there is another entrance through the laundry room because they helped install it 6 years ago. That is not a wolf. That is a wolf with mortgage history. And now officials are talking about opening shelters. Shelters, are you insane? You are going to take hundreds of people, some coughing, some feverish, some apparently one sunset away from becoming 8-foot murder carpets, and put them inside a school gymnasium? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Why not hand out steaks and dim the lights while you're at it? Welcome to the Gallows Creek Community Shelter. Bathrooms are on the left, cots are on the right. Mass transformation begins promptly at sundown. No. Listen to Dr. Cheney. Listen to Dr. Shaw. These people may still be contagious while they look normal. That is the trick. That is how this thing wins. It does not spread when the infected have 9-foot shoulders and fangs hanging out of their mouths. Everybody knows to avoid that. It spreads now. Sunday morning, coffee, blankets, family reunions, everybody hugging the guy who disappeared last night. Oh, thank God you're alive. Cough. Congratulations. Now everybody a goddamn furry. And I hate furries. Okay, calm down, Eddie. Watch your blood pressure. Okay, let's reset. Let's talk about those bodies coming back almost normal. Almost. That word should terrify you. Because doctors are reporting yellow eyes, teeth that did not completely shrink, hair where there was no hair yesterday, fingers are still too long. So what happens tonight? Do they turn back faster? Do they get bigger? Do they remember more? Will fewer humans come back tomorrow morning? Nobody knows. And that is the official medical answer. Nobody knows. Terrific. Put it on the county seal. Gallows Creek, Pennsylvania. We don't know. Founded 1792. Population pending. And Caroline Reed is dead. That woman sat on television telling people to stay calm while everything around her fell apart. They found her mauled on Old Blackwood Road. So before anybody tells me this is some adorable supernatural inconvenience, people are dead. A lot of people. Families are gone. Homes are destroyed. And the people responsible may be sitting in medical tents this morning crying because they remember doing it. That is not funny. That is hell. But I know what happens next. People are going to feel sorry for them, and they should during the day. But compassion does not mean stupidity. If your loved one is infected, love them from the other side of a reinforced door. Bring them food, bring them water, talk to them, tell them you are there. But when that temperature starts dropping, back up. If the coughing suddenly stops, back up. If they say the lights are too bright, back up. If they start sniffing the air like somebody opened a steakhouse, back up. And if they stare out the window toward Blackwood Ridge and say they can hear somebody calling them, you do not ask who, you get out of the room. Hold on, I'm getting another message. Oh, terrific. Apparently residents are already being allowed to visit recovered family members at the temporary triage center. Of course they are. Of course, why learn anything? Why would we start now? Whoever is running that shelter, stop hugging the werewolves. I'm going to say something deeply unpopular. The most dangerous thing in Gallows Creek today is not the infected. It is everyone pretending daylight means this is over. The wolves are not gone. They are eating breakfast. And somewhere under Blackwood Ridge, that empty coffin is still empty. Remember that. The old one is still out there. The first one, the one everybody else listens to. These people woke up confused this morning, but I guarantee you one thing. Tonight, when that voice calls from the mountain, they are not going to be confused anymore. So enjoy the sunshine. Board the windows. Check your family's temperature. And if your neighbor wandered home naked this morning, give him a blanket from a distance. And Frank, if that is you walking through my hydrangeas right now, put some damn pants on, for God.
My fellow Americans, today I am speaking to you regarding a very serious situation. Quite frankly, a horrible situation. Probably one of the strangest situations any president has ever had to talk about from this desk. We have an outbreak on our hands, ladies and gentlemen, and I know people have heard a lot of different names. The Gallows Creek virus, wolf flu, howling fever. Some people are calling them wolfmen. Some people are calling them werewolves. Very fancy, and unfortunately, we are dealing with werewolves, actual werewolves. I know, believe me. I wish I were making this up. For the last 40 to 8 hours, federal agencies have been monitoring the situation in Gallows Creek, Pennsylvania. Initially, we were told this was an isolated respiratory illness. Then people began reporting large animals, then very large animals, then very large animals walking around on 2 legs, breaking into houses, and apparently speaking English, which is not what you want, not good. And this morning, many of those creatures became human again. Very confusing. People waking up in fields, people waking up on highways, people waking up completely naked. A lot of naked people. Frankly, far too many naked people, and many of them are covered in blood. So we have a serious problem. We now know Gallows Creek is not the only community affected. This afternoon, confirmed clusters of the same illness were identified outside Pittsburgh, then Columbus, then Baltimore, then Washington, D.C. Since that time, additional suspected outbreaks have been reported in New York, New Jersey, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, Michigan, and several other states. Federal medical teams believe infected individuals traveled beyond Gallows Creek before authorities understood how contagious the illness had become. Some traveled by automobile, some by bus, some by airplane. And because the most contagious patients may look completely normal during daylight hours, they were able to move through the country before anyone knew what they were carrying. That changes everything. This is no longer a Pennsylvania emergency. This is a national emergency. Now, I have watched the movies, okay? I know the werewolf movies. Everybody knows the Wolfman. Great movie, classic, Lon Chaney Jr., very good werewolf, very professional werewolf. You had the moon, you had the silver. You knew the rules. Simple, beautiful. Then you have an American Werewolf in London. Very nasty transformation. Terrible vacation. You go backpacking. You stop at the wrong pub. Suddenly your entire evening is ruined. We have the Howling. Very good, very scary. Then they made Howling 2. I watched some of that one today. We have people working around the clock trying to stop the end of civilization, and somebody made me watch Howling 2. I said, why? Nobody had an answer. Nobody. There are some movies where even the werewolves look embarrassed to be there. But I watched it. That is commitment. We are studying everything. Science, medicine, history, folklore, movies, old books, silver bullets, Wolfsbane, whatever works. If somebody in 1420 wrote down something useful about werewolves, I want that paper on my desk. We are not being snobs about information anymore. Because these are not movie werewolves. That is very important. They do not need a full moon. They do not need to bite you. They cough. That is the problem. They cough. You could sit beside somebody at lunch who looks completely normal. They might have a fever. They might be sweating. Maybe they say the lights are too bright. Maybe dinner smells terrible. Maybe they can suddenly hear your heartbeat from across the room. Then the sun goes down, their temperature drops, and suddenly you have a 9-foot problem in your kitchen. We cannot have that. Scientists also believe each transformation may become progressively more severe. After the first night, many infected people returned almost completely to normal. Almost. After subsequent transformations, certain characteristics may remain. The eyes, the teeth, the hands, hair growth, skeletal changes. Eventually, according to some medical projections, the infected may stop returning to human form entirely. So when somebody tells you, well, he looks fine this morning, that does not mean he is fine. He may be a wonderful person. Maybe you love him. Maybe he is your husband. Maybe she is your wife. Maybe it is your child. That is terrible. But tonight, you cannot treat this like a normal illness. Compassion does not mean opening the bedroom door after sunset. We have also confirmed something extremely disturbing. These creatures are not mindless. They retain memory. They know houses. They recognize streets. They recognize family members. They can work together. They have been observed surrounding buildings, blocking exits, testing doors and windows, and waiting near areas containing large numbers of infected people. Some have imitated human speech. If something outside your home sounds like somebody you know, do not automatically open the door. I don't care if it says it is Grandma. I don't care if Grandma sounds fantastic. Look at Grandma first. If Grandma is 7 feet tall and covered in fur, that is not the time for a family reunion. Effective immediately, I am declaring a nationwide state of emergency. And after consultations with governors, military leadership, federal health officials, and national security personnel, I am authorizing emergency measures across the United States. National Emergency Directive. A nationwide nighttime curfew will begin tonight. All non-essential travel after sunset is suspended. Large public gatherings are canceled until further notice. Schools in affected regions will remain closed. Interstate transportation may be restricted as required. Airports, bus terminals, and rail stations will begin enhanced fever screening. Temporary quarantine facilities are being established under federal supervision. National Guard units are being activated throughout affected states. And I am invoking emergency federal authority, including martial law measures where necessary, to maintain essential services, enforce quarantine zones, protect medical facilities, and keep major transportation corridors secure. This is not something I wanted to do. Nobody wants martial law. Terrible phrase. Very dramatic. But neither do we want packs of werewolves running through Philadelphia. So we are choosing the option with fewer werewolves. Military personnel are being issued revised rules for dealing with transformed infected persons. I want to be very clear. The people suffering from this disease are American citizens. They are patients. During daylight hours, many are frightened, confused, and in terrible distress. They must be treated humanely. They need medical care. They need food. They need clothing, apparently especially clothing, a lot of clothing. But once transformation begins and an infected individual poses an immediate threat to human life, emergency personnel are authorized to defend themselves and others. We are also testing silver ammunition. Yes. Silver ammunition. I asked the same question. Apparently we are doing that now. If it works, fantastic. If it does not, we will try something else. We have the best military in the world. We have tremendous weapons. We are not losing America to a bunch of oversized dogs and Wolfsbane. We are looking into the Wolfsbane. Nobody in Washington knew where to buy Wolfsbane. Very embarrassing. You would think somebody would know. Apparently every garden center in America is sold out. Do not eat it. Do not drink it. Do not rub random plants on your children. We have already had calls about that. Wait for actual medical guidance. Now, there is another piece of information that the federal government has not previously released. Investigators examining the burial site beneath Highway 16 have confirmed that the graves were connected to an outbreak in Gallows Creek in 1918. Official historical records described influenza. Those records appear to have been falsified. People in Gallows Creek experienced the same transformations more than a century ago. The residents of that period understood enough about the illness to bury infected victims face down. They placed silver in their mouths. They tied Wolfsbane around their wrists. Then they removed records of the event from official history. And there is something else. One grave was empty. The coffin had not been broken by construction machinery. It had been opened from the inside. Federal authorities are searching Blackwood Ridge for the individual believed to have occupied that grave. Records identify him as Reverend Malachi Voss. Investigators believe Voss may have been among the earliest infected individuals associated with the 1918 outbreak. Some experts believe other infected people are responding to him, following him, gathering toward him. A kind of, and I hate this term, alpha. Apparently we have an alpha werewolf, which is ridiculous. But unfortunately, ridiculous things can still kill you. We do not currently believe killing this Voss individual will cure infected patients. The disease has spread too far. He is not the virus. He may simply be the oldest voice the others recognize. That means this is no longer about finding one monster and ending the story. There is no single monster. There may be thousands. Eventually, if transmission continues, there could be millions. So tonight I am asking every American to do several very simple things. Stay home after sunset. Lock your doors. Lock your windows. Keep infected relatives separated. Monitor body temperature. If somebody's fever suddenly breaks after sunset, move away from them immediately. Do not investigate howling. Do not respond to voices outside. Do not travel toward quarantine zones. Do not hide infected family members from medical personnel. And please, for the love of God, if you wake up tomorrow morning naked in somebody else's yard covered in blood, do not just walk home. Call somebody. We need to know where you were. America has survived wars, pandemics, depressions, terror attacks, natural disasters, bad movies, very bad movies. We survived howling too. We can survive this. But we have to be smart. We have to protect one another. And for a little while, we may have to protect ourselves from people we love. That is the hardest part. Because tomorrow morning, the monster may look like your neighbor again. It may apologize, it may cry, it may remember everything, and then tomorrow night, it may change again. I have just been informed that additional confirmed transformation events are now being reported in Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, Boston, and Long Island. So this thing has moved faster than we thought, much faster. The curfew takes effect nationally at sundown. Get home, stay there, and if you hear howling tonight, remember, it may not be coming from the woods anymore. It may be coming from next door. God bless you. God bless our military, and God bless the United States of America.
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Ellis. Federal and state authorities are beginning one of the largest emergency relocation operations in Pennsylvania history as thousands of residents displaced by the howling fever outbreak are moved into temporary shelters, medical centers, and quarantine facilities. Schools, churches, recreation centers, and government buildings across Gallows Creek County have now been converted into emergency camps. Gallows Creek High School is currently housing more than 1,100 people. Blackwood Middle School has been converted into an isolation center for residents showing early symptoms. The Gallows Creek Community College Gymnasium is serving as a temporary family reunification site. And 3 additional facilities have been established east of the county line under National Guard supervision. Authorities are asking residents not to travel to a shelter unless directed to do so. Each facility is now separating people into 3 groups: those showing no symptoms, those who may have been exposed, and those already confirmed to be infected. The federal government says the color system is intended to prevent another mass exposure event. But scenes emerging from some facilities have already raised questions about how infected residents are being treated. WGCN was granted limited access to Gallows Creek High School this afternoon. The school has been transformed almost entirely into a medical facility. Classrooms are now examination rooms. The cafeteria has become a field pharmacy. The football field is being used as a helicopter landing zone. And the main gymnasium has been divided into temporary quarantine sections. Dr. Adrian Cheney is assisting federal medical teams at the school. We spoke with him earlier this afternoon.
What you're looking at is not a hospital. It was never designed to be one. We have biology classrooms being used for blood testing. We have a locker room being used as an isolation ward. We are improvising. Everyone is improvising.
How many confirmed infected patients are currently here?
At this facility, 382. That number will probably exceed 500 before evening.
Most of them look healthy.
That is exactly what makes this disease difficult to contain. Look around. You're seeing people eating lunch, talking to family, playing cards. Some are watching television. If you did not know what happened last night, you would have no reason to think anything was wrong. But nearly everyone in the red section has already transformed at least once. We are recording residual physical changes, teeth that have not fully receded, abnormal hair growth, elevated hearing, changes in smell, healing rates far beyond anything normally observed, and many patients are reporting something else. They say they can feel sunset coming. They become restless. Body temperature begins declining. Their hearing becomes more acute. Some describe pressure in the jaw or spine. Others say they begin smelling people around them differently. One patient told me the people in this gym started smelling like food. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon when he said that.
Is that patient still in here?
Yes.
With everyone else?
No.
Doctor, how dangerous is that?
Extremely. We are running out of appropriate containment space. That is the truth. There are too many patients, and we do not yet know how much stronger the second transformation will be.
Do you believe everyone here will change again tonight?
If they remain infected, yes. I think we have to assume that.
What happens to them before sunset?
That is no longer entirely a medical decision.
That decision is now being made jointly by federal emergency officials and the United States military. Following the president's declaration of emergency powers, National Guard and active duty units have begun constructing reinforced nighttime containment areas inside designated shelters. Officials refer to them as nocturnal isolation units. Residents have given them another name, silver cages. The structures consist of reinforced steel frames anchored directly into concrete floors. Military officials say several components have been plated or reinforced with silver after early testing suggested the metal may cause discomfort or hesitation in transformed patients. That finding has not yet been independently verified. Each enclosure is designed to hold 1 infected person from shortly before sunset until sunrise. Children are being placed in separate juvenile units. Families will not be permitted to remain together overnight. We are lucky enough to be able to speak with General Thomas Harlan, who is overseeing federal containment operations in the Gallows Creek region.
Good morning, Mark. Let me make this clear. Our responsibility is very simple. Protect the uninfected, protect the infected, and prevent another night like the one this county just experienced.
General, people are calling these things cages. Care to comment?
They are containment units. They look like cages. They are reinforced containment units. The individuals placed inside them may undergo dramatic increases in strength and body mass. A normal hospital room cannot contain them. A classroom cannot contain them. A police holding cell has already failed to contain them. So yes, they are heavily reinforced.
Why silver?
Medical teams have reported adverse reactions when transformed subjects come into direct contact with silver. They're testing every available option.
Subjects?
Patients. Sorry, I misspoke. These are civilians, I'm well aware of that. And surface level, this looks bad. But we need people to understand that these people are infected with a influenza-like infection. Some of them are children. I'm aware of that too. Look, stating these things isn't going to help the current situation. I know it's bad, but it could be 100 times worse.
And tonight you intend to lock hundreds of American citizens inside metal cages.
Tonight, I intend to make sure those citizens wake up tomorrow morning without having killed the people sleeping beside them. You saw Gallows Creek Regional Hospital. So did I. We found patients on the roof. We found staff members in stairwells. We found doors torn from concrete walls. We recovered people this morning who had their own children's blood beneath their fingernails. Do not confuse containment with punishment.
What happens if someone refuses?
Confirmed infected persons inside federal emergency zones will be required to enter nighttime containment before sunset.
Required?
Yes.
By force?
If necessary.
And if the containment units fail?
They will not.
That wasn't my question.
Then I suggest we all hope my first answer was correct.
Inside Gallows Creek High School, the new containment policy is already creating scenes few residents imagined they would ever witness. Families are permitted to visit infected relatives during daylight hours. At 5 o'clock, those visits will end. At 6, infected residents will begin entering the containment units. By 7, every red section patient is expected to be secured. Sunset tonight is at 7:46. Dr. Cheney has publicly criticized placing hundreds of infected patients in the same building. He argues that the disease may cause pack behavior even before transformation. We asked him what that means for the people currently housed at Gallows Creek High School.
Those people did not arrive together. They do not know one another. And yet every few hours we find the same individuals sitting together, moving together, eating together. They are arranging themselves without realizing they're doing it.
Why?
Scent, instinct, something neurological. I don't know, but they recognize one another.
Is that dangerous?
Very. Last night they coordinated attacks across buildings without speaking. What makes anyone think bars will stop them from communicating?
Then what would you do?
Spread them out. Small isolation sites. 1 or 2 infected patients per secure location. Distance between them. No large concentration. That would require hundreds of facilities. Yes, we don't have hundreds of facilities. I know. That is why I'm frightened.
Federal officials say smaller quarantine sites are not currently practical. For now, schools remain the primary shelter system. And the comparison being made quietly by residents is difficult to ignore. Rows of fenced enclosures, food and water placed inside, identification tags attached to each unit, separate areas for adults and juveniles, a locked gate before sundown, a human shelter, built for people who may not remain human after dark. Officials insist the measures are temporary, but with confirmed howling fever cases now appearing in multiple states, similar containment centers are reportedly being constructed nationwide. School gymnasiums, aircraft hangars, warehouses, county fairgrounds, prisons, anywhere authorities can install reinforced cells before nightfall. There is another concern. Some infected residents are refusing to enter the facilities. Police say dozens have already left designated shelters or hidden their symptoms from medical personnel. Others have barricaded themselves inside their own homes. Authorities are asking family members not to conceal infected relatives. Dr. Shaw and Dr. Cheney both stress that infected residents are still patients. They have not committed a crime simply by becoming ill. But officials also acknowledge that once sunset approaches, the distinction between patient and threat becomes increasingly difficult to maintain. And for hundreds of families across Gallows Creek tonight, that distinction will be separated by steel bars. The temperature in Gallows Creek is expected to fall rapidly again after sunset. Officials are asking everyone outside a designated shelter to be inside a secure structure by 7 o'clock. The nationwide curfew remains in effect. If someone in your household is infected and you are not able to reach an authorized containment facility, health officials recommend isolating that individual behind the strongest available barrier before their temperature begins falling. Do not use ropes. Do not attempt physical restraint. Do not remain inside the same locked room. And if the person asks you to leave before sunset, listen to them. Because right now, while the sun is still up, they know what they may become. Stay tuned for more.
We are recording. Welcome back to the Jimmy Slim Show. I'm Jimmy Slims, and today we have a guest who has spent the last 40 to 8 hours screaming at Gallows Creek through a shortwave transmitter. If you've heard somebody yelling about naked neighbors, government incompetence, werewolves, bad horror movies, and apparently the constitutional right to keep your hydrangeas free of exposed buttocks, you already know him. Eddie Knox.
I was right.
Hello to you too.
Say it.
No.
Say Eddie Knox was right.
Fine. Eddie Knox was occasionally less wrong than usual. How are you doing, Eddie?
Terrible. Thank you for asking. I haven't slept. My upstairs window is gone. My generator sounds like it's developing emphysema. There are military Humvees driving up and down the road every 20 minutes. Approximately 30 minutes ago, somebody announced through a bullhorn that harboring an infected individual is now a violation of federal quarantine orders. So everything is going great.
That sounded very specific.
Did it?
Why would the military need to announce that outside your house?
No particular reason.
Eddie, are you hiding somebody? Oh my God.
Keep your voice down.
We're on the internet.
Then keep the internet down.
Who is in your house?
You remember Frank?
Frank.
My neighbor.
Hydrangea Frank?
Hydrangea Frank. He had a difficult evening.
He was infected?
Well, Jimmy, he woke up naked in my flower bed with blood on his face and half a patio chair wrapped around one ankle. You tell me.
And you have him inside your house?
Basement.
Eddie.
Oh, don't you start. I already know. Werewolf, basement, sunset. I understand how horror movies work. I have seen all of them, even Howling 2. I know this is a terrible combination.
The military is actively collecting infected residents.
Yeah, I've seen what collecting means.
What happened?
They came through about noon. 3 trucks, soldiers, medical people. Everybody with a red wristband was being loaded onto buses. Anybody with a fever got checked. Anybody who admitted they had changed last night, gone.
They're taking them to containment centers.
They're taking them to cages.
The military says those cages are there to keep everybody alive.
Maybe they are. I'm not saying General Buzzcut wakes up every morning wondering how he can make werewolves miserable. I understand the problem. I saw what happened last night. One of those things tried to eat my satellite dish. I know they're dangerous. But I watched a little girl screaming because soldiers were taking her father away. He wasn't transforming. He wasn't attacking anybody. It was noon. He was crying, and they put him behind fencing anyway.
So when they got to Frank,
I told them he wasn't home.
You lied to federal troops.
Allegedly.
You're telling me on camera.
This isn't admissible.
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, I'm not a lawyer.
Why do it? You have spent 2 days telling everyone within radio range how much you hate werewolves.
I do hate werewolves. They're awful. They smell. They break everything. They don't understand doors. And I have discovered they shed like somebody detonated a Labrador.
But you're hiding one in your basement.
Frank isn't a werewolf right now. He's Frank. Look, I hate furries. I hate werewolves. I hate whatever category Frank belongs to after 7:46 tonight. But I'm not a monster. That guy has lived next door to me for 12 years. He shoveled my driveway when I threw my back out. He watched my dog when my mother was dying. He brings me tomatoes every summer, even though I've told him repeatedly that tomatoes are disgusting. I'm not handing him over while he's sitting in my basement crying because he thinks he killed somebody.
Does he remember last night?
Some of it.
How much?
Enough. He remembers running. He remembers smells. He remembers being able to hear televisions inside houses. He remembers somebody shooting at him. He remembers...
What?
He remembers chasing a car.
Was anyone hurt?
He doesn't know. That's the problem. He woke up half a mile away. No clothes, blood in his mouth. He has no idea whose.
Jesus.
Yeah. Not many jokes for that one.
What's his condition now?
Fever came back about an hour ago, 102. He says his joints hurt, light is bothering him, food smells terrible, water's okay,
and
he's hearing things.
What kind of things?
Me.
You're upstairs.
Exactly. The basement door is closed. I'm sitting across the house, and 20 minutes ago he yelled up and asked why I was whispering. I wasn't talking to him. I was on the phone in the garage.
That sounds exactly like the sensory changes Dr. Cheney described.
I know, Jimmy. I listen to the news. I'm crazy, not uninformed.
What are you going to do when the sun goes down?
I've cleared the basement.
Eddie.
Calm down. He asked me to. We moved everything dangerous out. The basement door is solid. He's staying downstairs. I'm staying upstairs.
Nobody opens anything until morning.
You trust the door?
Absolutely not. Frank doesn't trust it either. That's what scares me.
Have you considered taking him to the medical camp yourself?
We talked about it. He said no.
Why?
Because he saw the silver cages on television.
Those may be the safest place for him tonight.
Maybe. And maybe tomorrow morning I'll admit I made the stupidest decision of my life. But Frank thinks they're going to stop treating people like patients once the transformations get worse.
Do you, Eddie?
I think everybody is scared. That's when people start doing ugly things and calling them necessary. And before somebody clips that sentence and decides I've become president of the Werewolves Civil Liberties Union. No, if Frank grows 9 feet tall tonight and starts trying to chew through the ceiling, I'm not going downstairs to give him a motivational speech. I'm staying the hell away from him. But while he is human, while he can sit there and tell me he's terrified, that's my neighbor.
Has Frank heard this conversation?
Probably.
Frank?
Don't encourage him.
Frank, if you can hear me through an entire floor, give us a knock.
Jimmy?
Frank, we're rooting for you, buddy.
Stop talking to my basement werewolf.
You called him a werewolf.
Shut up.
How much time until sunset?
3 hours and change.
And you're staying there?
Yeah. Somebody has to be here when he wakes up.
If he wakes up, sorry.
No. You're right. That's the other thing nobody likes saying. We don't know if everybody changes back a second time.
Dr. Shaw thinks each transformation may leave more behind.
Yellow eyes, longer teeth, hair, posture. Eventually sunrise might not fix it. Yeah, Frank knows.
How's he taking that?
He asked me to call his daughter. She lives in Ohio. I told her he was safe. Didn't tell her where, didn't tell her what happened last night. Just said, your dad loves you.
Eddie.
Don't. We're not doing feelings. I have a reputation.
Of course.
I yell about cryptids and municipal corruption. I do not cry on podcasts. Shit.
What?
Humvee. Military? Yeah, 2 houses down.
Eddie, you may want to end the call.
No kidding. Jimmy.
Yeah?
If this gets ugly, don't turn Frank into some monster story.
What do you mean?
Tell people his name. Frank Delaney, 54, electrician, divorced, 1 daughter. Makes terrible chili, won't stop growing tomatoes. Tell him that part too, because if tonight goes bad, people are only going to remember the teeth.
I will.
Oh, for God's sake, Frank!
Eddie, I'll call you before sunset. Frank Delaney. 54 years old, electrician, 1 daughter, bad chili, too many tomatoes. Remember the name. This is Jimmy Slims. We'll be right back.
Good evening. I'm Mark Ellis. The nationwide curfew is now in effect, and here in Gallows Creek, the final 15 minutes before sunset have begun. All confirmed howling fever patients housed at emergency facilities were ordered into nighttime containment earlier this evening. At Gallows Creek High School, more than 400 infected residents are now being held inside reinforced isolation units. The process was completed shortly after 7 o'clock, but within the last 30 minutes, doctors say something has changed. Unlike last night, when most transformations began after night had already fallen, several patients are now exhibiting physical abnormalities while the sun is still above the horizon. Medical personnel have reported sudden changes to the hands, teeth, eyes, and skeletal structure. Some patients who appeared almost completely normal earlier today are deteriorating rapidly. Dr. Adrian Cheney is joining us live from Gallows Creek High School. Doctor?
Yes, Mark. I can hear you.
What is happening there?
We are seeing changes earlier than anticipated. Body temperatures began declining approximately 40 minutes ago. Not dramatically at first. Half a degree, then 1 degree. Then several patients began showing changes that we did not observe until much later in the cycle yesterday.
What kind of changes?
Hands, mostly. At first, one patient complained that his fingers felt swollen. A nurse assumed it was inflammation. Then she realized there were more fingers than there had been 10 minutes earlier.
More?
3 additional, on both hands, fully formed. Within minutes, all of the patient's existing fingernails had darkened and extended into sharp, hooked structures. Claws, for simpler terms.
Was the patient conscious?
Completely. He was drinking water when it happened. He dropped the cup because he could no longer properly close his hand around it. He looked down and started screaming.
Doctor?
I'm fine. That's from the gymnasium. His teeth changed next. The upper canines extended first. Then the molars began shifting. We could hear them moving. Several teeth fractured under the pressure and were pushed out. New teeth emerged behind them, larger, serrated. His jaw began widening. At that point, security personnel transferred him immediately into one of the containment units. Then we saw him transform.
If you can, Doctor, may you describe what you saw?
I'm not sure I should.
Doctor, I mean no disrespect, but people watching this have infected family members in their homes. They need to know what may happen. It may save lives, even if it is graphic.
All right.
Viewers at home, what you are about to hear is graphic.
His shoulders dislocated, both of them, simultaneously. Then they reset several inches wider. The rib cage expanded, his spine curved forward. His legs lengthened enough that his feet no longer touched the same place on the floor. Hair began growing across his arms, shoulders, and chest. His ears, they moved. Upward, the cartilage changed shape. His face, Mark, I spoke to this man this afternoon. His name is Stephen Kelly. He teaches algebra. He has 2 daughters. He kept asking us to call his wife because he was frightened she would think he abandoned her. Less than 4 hours ago, he was sitting on a cot drinking coffee. And then, after the transformation, dare I say it, that was no man in that cage.
Doctor!
I know how that sounds. I am a physician. I've spent my career demanding evidence before terminology. But what I saw standing inside that enclosure was not something medicine has a word for. It was nearly 9 feet tall. It could not stand fully upright without striking the ceiling. Its arms had lengthened past the knees. The extra fingers remained, all of them. And when it looked at us, it recognized us.
How can you know that?
Because one of the nurses treating him earlier was named Rebecca. When she approached the cage, it said her name.
It spoke?
Not clearly. But yes, it remembered.
Is that patient secure?
For now. The silver appears to affect him. He will not willingly touch the plated sections of the enclosure. When his skin makes contact, there is an immediate reaction, pain, burning, almost like the body rejects it. But that has created another problem.
Which is?
They're learning where the silver isn't. The transformed patient stopped throwing himself randomly against the bars. He began testing them, one section at a time. Hands first, then claws. He taps each joint, each bolt, each weld. If it burns him, he moves on. If it doesn't, he keeps working at it.
Doctor, is that coming from his enclosure?
No. There are more now.
More patients are changing?
At least 17, possibly 20. And something is wrong with the timing. They aren't transforming independently anymore.
Explain that.
Their temperatures are dropping together, not approximately. Together. We have patients in opposite ends of the building whose readings change within seconds of one another. Pulse rates, body temperature, pupil dilation, muscle contractions, it is synchronized.
Could there be an environmental cause?
We thought so. Temperature inside the gym is stable. Lighting is stable. No shared medication explains it. They are responding to something else.
What?
We don't know. One moment. Everybody out. Move.
Dr. Cheney.
The second transformation is faster. And they're bigger for now. They all seem to be answering some sort of call.
Answering what?
There. Like I said before, Alpha, we need to go.
We have lost the feed from Gallows Creek High School. Military and medical personnel are attempting to evacuate the unsecured portions of the building. We do not currently know whether any of the containment units have failed. The sun has now set. If you are infected and currently isolating at home, do not leave your secure area. If you are caring for someone infected, do not open their door, no matter what they say, no matter how human they sound. Whatever happened last night, it is happening again. And this time, they know what they are. Stay safe tonight and Godspeed.
This is a national emergency message issued jointly by the United States Department of Health and Human Services, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the Department of Defense. This is not a test. Confirmed howling fever outbreaks have now been reported in multiple states. A nationwide nighttime curfew is in effect. All persons are instructed to be inside a secured structure before local sunset. Remain indoors until sunrise unless directed otherwise by emergency personnel. Do not travel after dark. Do not attempt to reach family members once curfew has begun. Do not attempt to evacuate during active transformation hours. If you are currently driving, proceed immediately to the nearest designated shelter or secure occupied building. Do not stop for individuals standing along highways or rural roads after sunset. Lock all doors and windows. Residents sheltering at home should immediately secure all exterior doors and windows. Close blinds and curtains. Turn off exterior lighting. Move away from ground floor windows. Keep children and pets inside. If possible, remain in an interior room with more than one exit. Do not investigate scratching, knocking, movement on rooftops, or noises outside your residence. Do not go outside to photograph or record transformed individuals. Do not attempt to frighten them away. Do not approach them. Do not respond to voices outside. Transformed infected persons may retain human memory. They may recognize homes, vehicles, family members, and familiar locations. Some have demonstrated the ability to imitate human speech. They may call your name. They may imitate a spouse, a parent, a child, a neighbor, or someone requesting help. Do not open a door because you recognize the voice outside. Visually confirm the identity and physical condition of any person before allowing entry. If visual confirmation is not possible, do not respond. Do not speak through the door. Do not announce how many people are inside your residence. Do not reveal your location. If someone in your home is infected, howling fever patients may appear completely human during daylight hours. Do not assume an infected person has recovered because their symptoms have temporarily improved. Known warning signs before transformation include high fever, sudden decline in body temperature, coughing that abruptly stops, severe pain in the jaw, hands, spine, or shoulders, sensitivity to light, changes in smell or hearing, yellowing of the eyes, abnormal tooth growth, elongation of the fingers, rapid hair growth, restlessness, fixation on windows, doors, wooded areas, or distant sounds. If an infected person experiences a sudden drop in temperature, move away from them immediately. Do not physically restrain them. Do not use rope, handcuffs, or improvised restraints. Do not remain inside the same locked room. if the infected person is already isolated behind a secure barrier. Do not open that barrier until after sunrise. Even if they sound normal. Even if they ask you to. Even if they tell you the transformation has stopped. They may remember what you said before they change. They may know exactly how to convince you to open the door. Do not attempt to fight a transformed person. Transformed infected persons have demonstrated extreme strength, speed, enhanced senses, and rapid healing. Ordinary doors may not stop them. Interior walls may not stop them. Upper floors should not be considered unreachable. Several documented attacks have involved entry through second-story windows and rooftops. If a transformed individual discovers your location, do not confront it unless necessary to protect immediate human life. Remain quiet. Move deeper into the structure. Place multiple barriers between yourself and the creature. Avoid areas with only one exit. Do not run outside unless your current position has been breached and no secure interior route remains. Silver limited effect confirmed. Early federal testing indicates that direct contact with silver may produce severe pain in transformed infected persons. Silver does not currently constitute a confirmed cure. Silver objects should not be treated as guaranteed protection. Do not approach a transformed individual simply because you possess silver. Do not manufacture weapons unless directed by authorities. Do not ingest silver. Do not administer silver compounds as medication. Wolfsbane effect unknown. The effectiveness of Wolfsbane remains under investigation. Do not consume wild plants. Do not burn unknown herbs inside enclosed spaces. Do not administer herbal preparations to children, pets, or infected family members. Wait for verified medical guidance. The moon is not required. Do not rely on lunar phase. Transformation has been confirmed without a full moon. Current evidence indicates that transformation is associated primarily with the infected person's biological cycle, falling body temperature, and nightfall. They may hunt in groups. Transformed infected persons have demonstrated coordinated pack behavior. If one creature appears to leave your property, remain inside. Others may still be nearby. Do not assume silence means the area is clear. Do not assume a retreat is permanent. Creatures have been observed testing entrances, waiting near escape routes, and surrounding occupied structures. They may attempt to force residents toward another member of the group. Remain where you are unless authorities provide a confirmed evacuation route. If you hear howling, do not answer it. Do not imitate it. Do not travel toward it. Howling may cause agitation or behavioral changes in infected persons who have not yet transformed. If an infected individual begins reacting to distant howling, increase your distance immediately. Report the incident when communications are available. Emergency shelters. Follow military and medical instructions. Residents currently housed inside designated emergency facilities must remain within assigned sections. Do not cross medical partitions. Do not remove identification wristbands. Do not release infected family members from nighttime containment units. Family visitation is suspended until sunrise. Military personnel have been instructed to maintain separation between infected and uninfected residents. These measures are intended to protect both groups. Infected persons remain patients and United States citizens. Do not attack, harass, or attempt to hunt suspected infected persons during daylight hours. Report them to medical authorities. Do not form armed civilian patrols. Do not approach quarantine facilities. If someone you love is infected, they may still understand what is happening to them before transformation. Speak calmly. Tell them where you will be after sunrise. If they ask you to leave, leave. Do not make them choose between your safety and their fear of being alone. You may survive until sunrise. The majority of documented transformed patients return to near human form following sunrise. This does not mean they are cured. Recovered individuals may remain contagious. They may experience confusion, memory distress, residual physical changes, or renewed symptoms later in the day. Do not immediately embrace or approach a recently reverted patient. Provide clothing or blankets from a safe distance. Contact medical authorities. If the person is covered in blood, do not assume the blood belongs to them. Tonight's national curfew. Sunset, sunrise. Again. Remain indoors. Lock doors and windows. Turn off exterior lights. Keep away from windows. Do not investigate sounds outside. Do not respond to familiar voices without visual confirmation. Monitor infected persons for falling temperature. Do not release isolated infected persons after sunset. Do not approach transformed individuals. Do not travel toward howling. Remain inside until sunrise. The person outside your home may be someone you know. This message will repeat every 30 minutes throughout the night. Remain calm. Remain quiet. Remain indoors. Survive until morning. This message will repeat in this frequency until sunrise. God bless the United States of America.
Command! Command! This is Shelter D! We have multiple containment breaches! I say, multiple containment breaches at Shelter D in Gallows Creek! The silver units are failing! They pulled the anchors out of the floor! We need immediate reinforcement! We have at least... Oh God! Contest! East hallway! East hallway! Command! They're inside the green section! They're inside with the civilians! We need...
Shelter D, this is Command. I'll copy, over. Shelter D, Command. Radio check. How copy? Shelter D, acknowledge. All units, do not respond to further transmissions originating from Shelter D. Shelter D is compromised. Repeat, Shelter D is compromised.
Okay, testing. 1, 2. If this sounds terrible, that's because I'm recording it on a 12-year-old handheld recorder in my basement. So, production quality has officially become the least of my concerns. Jimmy Slim's, audio log, Sunday night, 11:48, I think. My phone stopped getting network time about an hour ago. Power went out at 10:16. Generator is running, but I'm saving fuel. TV's dead. Internet's gone. Cell service comes back for maybe 30 seconds at a time, then disappears again. And the emergency radio. Multiple breaches. Repeat, do not attempt. Philadelphia command no longer responding. Baltimore perimeter has, That's pretty much the evening. Every station I can still find is either an emergency loop, somebody screaming coordinates, or dead air. New York went dark about 40 minutes ago. Parts of Baltimore before that. Pittsburgh, I don't know. Nobody seems to know. Chicago was still transmitting the last time I checked. Then somebody started yelling about creatures on the interstate and the signal disappeared. Atlanta's evacuation apparently collapsed before sunset. Washington is still transmitting federal alerts, but half of them sound automated. So, I guess this is what the end of the United States sounds like. Not one enormous explosion, not the Capitol getting hit by a meteor, not some movie president standing in front of a flag giving one last speech, just one radio station after another disappearing, one city at a time, one little red light going dark. That was closer. I used to think I'd be good at the apocalypse, seriously. I have spent years making jokes about this stuff. Aliens, zombies, government bunkers, cryptids, secret experiments. Every conspiracy nut who ever called my show thought civilization was ending next Tuesday. And I always figured, hey, if it happens, Jimmy Slims has canned food and a microphone, I'll be fine. Turns out canned soup doesn't make you brave. Upstairs is barricaded. Front door has a dresser against it. Kitchen windows are boarded. Basement door is chained. I've got bottled water, batteries, first aid, food, and absolutely no plan for what happens if one of those things realizes I'm down here. Because apparently they can hear heartbeats. Fantastic evolutionary development. Very fair, probably tree branches. There are no trees on that side of the house. But we're calling it tree branches. The national warning said not to respond to voices outside. That sounded ridiculous when they first said it. Not anymore. About 20 minutes ago, somebody walked down my street calling for help. A woman's voice kept saying, please open the door, same sentence, same exact tone, over and over. Never got louder, never got quieter, like somebody had recorded it. Then another voice started saying it from farther down the block. Then another. 3 different houses, same woman. Please open the door. Nobody did. At least, I hope nobody did. You know what's really messing with me? These things aren't strangers. That's the part I can't get around. Somewhere out there tonight is somebody's father, somebody's wife, some kid's school teacher, a cashier you saw last week, your plumber, your dentist, the guy who complains when you park too close to his mailbox. People. Yesterday they had jobs. Tomorrow morning, if tomorrow morning works the way we think it does, some of them are going to wake up human again, and they're going to remember this. How do you come back from that? How do you wake up and find out the thing everybody was hiding from was you? I've been thinking about Daniel. He called me from somewhere outside those camps, scared, sick, looking for his brother. He kept saying the same thing. We're still people. I hope he found him. I really do, because tonight I don't think anyone knows what people means anymore. It's quiet now. That's actually worse. A couple hours ago, there were helicopters everywhere. Gunfire, sirens, engines, people shouting. Now every few minutes there's an explosion somewhere, and between them, nothing. Then the howling starts. There, right on cue. They're doing that all over the city. One starts. Then another answers, then another. Like they're checking in, like they're counting who's left. And there's something else. Every time that big one howls, the others stop, all of them. They listen, then they answer together. I don't know what that means. Dr. Cheney probably would. Assuming he's still... No, not finishing that sentence. If somebody finds this recording later, I want to make one thing clear. This didn't start tonight. It didn't start when the military cages broke. It didn't start when the president declared martial law. It didn't even start when people began turning. It started when some road workers dug up a grave under Highway 16. A bunch of old coffins everybody assumed were just history. That's the funny thing about history. We like it when it stays dead. Makes museums easier. Gallows Creek buried something in 1918. They knew exactly what it was. They put the bodies face down, silver in their mouths, Wolfsbane on their wrists. Then they covered the whole thing up and prayed nobody ever found it. For almost 100 years. It worked. Then we dug it back up because we needed another lane on the highway. That's America for you. Apocalypse caused by road construction. Okay, that is not a tree branch. I'm going to shut up now. If this ends up being my last upload, thanks for listening, seriously. I spent years talking into microphones wondering whether anybody on the other end actually cared. Turns out, I cared. Stay inside, stay quiet, don't trust voices outside, and if morning comes, make sure you actually see the sun before you open that door. This is Jimmy Slims, signing off, for now.
Testing. This is Mark Ellis, WGCN Channel 8, or what's left of it. If anyone can hear this, I'm broadcasting on 88.7 FM from a portable transmitter outside the WGCN emergency bunker. Jim, our technician, taught me how to do this. He spent about 20 minutes explaining frequencies, antennas, amplifiers. I understood maybe 6 of those minutes. So Jim, if you're somehow listening, I got it working. Mostly. The sun came up about 20 minutes ago. It's quiet. That's the first thing I noticed. No gunfire, no helicopters, no sirens, not anymore. Just birds, wind, and fires. Gallows Creek is half gone. The western neighborhoods are almost entirely burned. Hawthorne is still standing in places. Main Street looks like something rolled straight through it. Several buildings are burning near the courthouse. The high school, Shelter D. I can see the smoke from here. There isn't much left. I haven't seen military personnel. I haven't seen police. There are abandoned vehicles everywhere. Some doors are open. Some still have their lights flashing. I stayed underground after the station lost power last night. We heard things moving through the building until sometime around 4. Nobody opened the bunker. That probably saved us. When daylight came, I waited. The emergency announcement said to make absolutely certain the sun had risen before leaving shelter. So that's what I did. And I expected to see people like yesterday morning, naked, confused, hurt, asking what happened. That's not what I saw. There are wolves outside during the day now, not dogs, not animals from the woods. Them, the infected, at least I think they're infected. I guess this is what Dr. Cheney was warning us about. Every transformation leaves something behind, and eventually, there may not be enough human left for Sunrise to bring back. I saw one about 10 minutes ago, across the intersection near Market Street, broad daylight. It was standing beside a burned-out police car. It must have been 9 feet tall, maybe more, black fur, arms almost down to its knees, hands. If you can still call them hands, too many fingers. It just stood there, looking around like it was waiting for something. Then another one came out of the pharmacy, and another from behind the church. They weren't attacking each other. They weren't confused. They knew exactly where the others were. They formed packs, and the packs aren't disappearing when the sun comes up anymore. That's one, middle of the morning. And there's another. We've been trying to pick up national broadcasts. There's very little left. A few military frequencies, automated emergency messages, fragments from stations in Ohio and New York. We caught something from Washington around 5:30, but it only lasted 11 seconds. I can't responsibly tell you what is happening outside Pennsylvania. I don't know. Nobody here knows. But if the emergency bands are accurate, Gallows Creek was not the end of this. It was the beginning. So I'm going to do what Caroline would have done. I'm going to report what I actually know, not rumors, not guesses, not whatever terrified people are saying over shortwave. Here's what we know. The howling fever remains contagious. The infected can transform without a full moon. Repeated transformations appear to become faster and more severe. Some infected no longer return completely to human form at sunrise. Pack behavior has been observed both before and after transformation. Silver causes a physical reaction, but it is not a cure. And Reverend Malachi Voss, the man removed from the 1918 burial records, has not been found. If Dr. Cheney was right, Voss isn't controlling the disease. Killing him wouldn't end this. He's simply the oldest voice they recognize. And judging by what I heard last night, a lot of them recognize him. There, that's the one. Every time that one calls, the others answer. There must be hundreds of them. If you're listening from somewhere outside Gallows Creek, don't come here. There is nothing here to rescue. If you're already here, stay hidden. Don't assume daylight makes you safe. Don't approach anyone who is not fully reverted. Don't follow voices. Don't follow howling. And if you have food, water, medication, batteries, make them last. We don't know when help is coming. We don't know if help is coming. Caroline Reed is dead. Natalie Pierce is missing. Gallows Creek Regional Hospital is gone. Most of our crew, I don't know. I wish I did. WGCN Channel 8 has been broadcasting to this county for 57 years. Storms, floods, elections, school closings, Christmas parades, football games. We always ended the night by telling you we'd see you tomorrow. I don't think I should make that promise today. Something just came around the corner. It's one of them. Jesus, it's huge. It's out in sunlight, doesn't seem bothered by it at all. I'm going back underground. I'm leaving this transmitter, running. Jim rigged it to repeat recorded messages if nobody is at the microphone. So as long as the batteries hold, WGCN will still be here. Maybe not Channel 8 anymore, maybe just a little radio signal in the mountains, but we're here. If anybody is listening, you're not alone, not yet. This is Mark Ellis, WGCN, Gallows Creek, Pennsylvania, Monday morning, August 30 to 1st, 2015. The sun is up, and the wolves are still here.
And so, friends, that was Gallows Creek, or at least, that was the last anyone heard from it. By the morning of August 30th, 1st, 2015, the howling fever was no longer an outbreak. It was an extinction event. The quarantine around Gallows Creek failed before midnight, The military shelters failed soon after. Highways became evacuation routes. Evacuation routes became hunting grounds. And the infected who escaped Pennsylvania carried the fever with them into towns and cities that had spent the previous 2 days believing Gallows Creek was somebody else's problem. Pittsburgh, Columbus, Baltimore, Washington, New York, Chicago, Atlanta. One by one, the broadcasts disappeared. Not because every person inside those cities died, but because civilization requires people to come outside. Police must patrol. Doctors must treat patients. Power crews must repair lines. Truckers must deliver food. Parents must find their children. And when nightfall itself becomes dangerous, eventually everything stops. For a little while, humanity adapted. Windows were boarded. Silver was stripped from jewelry stores, churches, antique shops, and family cabinets. Basements became bedrooms. Schools became fortresses. People learned to cook before sunset. They learned to speak quietly after dark. Children were taught never to answer knocking at the door, and every home kept a thermometer somewhere close, because sometimes the first warning was not a growl. It was not a bite. It was not the full moon appearing between the clouds. Sometimes it was your husband saying he suddenly felt cold. Your daughter complaining that dinner smelled rotten. Your neighbor asking why he could hear your television from across the street. Or somebody you loved simply coughing. The scientists had been right about one thing. Every transformation left something behind. After the first night, most of the infected returned, looking almost human. After the second, some could no longer stand completely upright. Eventually, morning stopped fixing them at all, and the creatures that remained did what wolves have always done. They found one another. They formed packs. They claimed territory. Only these wolves remembered roads. They remembered where people hid because many of those hiding places had once been their own homes. The strange thing was, the infected never forgot being human. Not completely. There were reports from surviving communities of creatures sitting outside abandoned houses for hours. Others carried objects, wedding rings, children's toys, pieces of clothing. One pack in Pennsylvania was reportedly seen returning every morning to the ruins of the same neighborhood. No one knew why. Perhaps some part of them remembered living there. Perhaps some part remembered the people who once did. Or perhaps memory had simply become another instinct. Like hunger. Dr. Adrian Cheney's research survived in fragments. His final warning spread through emergency radio networks long after anyone knew whether he was alive to hear it repeated. The moon was never the cause, silver was never a cure, and the creatures were never separate from the patients. They were the patients. That was the truth humanity struggled with until the very end. The monster outside the door might still be the person you loved. As for Jimmy Slim's, his final basement recording eventually found its way onto dozens of survivor frequencies. Nobody knows what happened after he switched off the microphone. Some claim another transmission bearing his voice appeared weeks later. Others insist it wasn't him. Considering what the infected had learned to do with human voices, perhaps it is better not to know. Mark Ellis continued broadcasting from Gallows Creek for as long as his little transmitter had power. Eventually, the live reports stopped. But Jim's automatic recording continued. For months, travelers passing through the Pennsylvania mountains claimed they could still find WGCN on the dial. Weak, broken, almost buried beneath static. The same message repeating endlessly, "You're not alone. Not yet." Natalie Pierce was never officially found. Reverend Malachi Voss was never recovered. And no one ever proved whether the great howls heard from Blackwood Ridge belonged to him,
or whether by then something even older had answered. In the years that followed, the survivors stopped calling it the howling fever. There was no need. There were children born after Gallows Creek who had never known a world without boarded windows, never attended school after sunset, never walked home beneath a full moon, never understood why their grandparents became uncomfortable when somebody coughed. To them, this was simply the world. Gallows Creek did not discover monsters. It discovered that monsters could still remember being people, that ancient fears do not always disappear because we stop believing in them, and that sometimes our ancestors buried things for a very good reason. So tonight, friends, when you switch off the television, when the house becomes quiet, when the trees outside your window disappear into darkness, perhaps check the lock one more time. Take your temperature, listen carefully, and if something outside calls your name, remember what happened in Gallows Creek. Do not answer, because the curse never needed the moon. It never needed a bite. All it needed was someone to breathe it in. The curse learned how to cough. Until next time, sleep well. And should you hear howling after midnight, please remember some doors were built to keep strangers out. Others were built to keep family in. Good night, friends. See you next time.